Good morning, everybody.
Ladies and
2 weeks
gentlemen,
ago, we
RIP to
lost.
Sabu.
Yes, we lost a ECW and a professional wrestling legend. He just literally wrestled his last match about a month ago. Literally, when people say they're innovative, this man was definitely innovative in a lot of people's minds, and he's definitely going to be missed by not only a lot of people in the wrestling community, but to me personally, because he's an ECW legend here in Philadelphia and all over the world. You know, may God bless Sabu. He's only 60 years old.
Also, this one right here, Stephen Mongo McMichael.
Steve Mongo McMichael, former
Yeah,
Chicago Bear and former Four Horsemen. He had a wrestling stint in WCW. Was a very good wrestler. A lot of professional athletes from different sports. It's like kind of a Pandora's box to go into professional wrestling, but he adapted very well, and he not only was very well in wrestling, but he was very well in commentating as well. Sadly, he lost. He actually is a Hall of Famer. He was in the Hall of Fame class this year, NFL Hall of Fame to be exact. And sadly, he has succumbed to cancer. You know, may God be with him as well. Stephen Michael, Marlon and Michael.
by the way, fun fact, the year we played him in 1985, Steve McMichael was in that game in the Orange Bowl.
Wow.
He was a part of that team. He was a part of that 85 that 85 Bear defense. He has a Super Bowl ring because I remember remember the storyline where Goldberg took his ring.
Everybody, yeah.
Remember Goldberg took his ring.
Yes, I do remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, it was the 85 Bears. He was part of the 85 Bears. I think him and Neidhart are the only wrestlers with Super Bowl rings. Neidhart played with the Raiders.
Yes. Yes.
So, and I'm sure he played the Dolphins in the playoffs.
Of course. And we got one more person, and it's 26 years yesterday of the unfortunate passing of Owen Hart. Owen Hart was one of the when you mention professional wrestling, and he was part of one of the most dominant and one of the most legendary wrestling families in professional wrestling, the Hart family, starting all the way from Stu Hart, all the way through the Nine Hearts, all the way through Brett, his brother, and you know, man, listen, the list goes on and on. But this man was serious and loved by everybody that he worked with. I never heard a bad story about Owen Hart. I've watched many and many shoot interviews with different professional wrestlers, and they said he was a joker, and he was a joker time and time again. Even when he would work with you in the ring, he would sit there and call certain things, and the guys would be like, "What?" But he was definitely a professional, and he made sure that he was taken care of. But he was definitely going too soon. I remember watching that pay-per-view, and I remember coming back from the bathroom and wondering why was the camera turned to the crowd, and they said something happened, but we didn't know until they actually sat there and said it on air. He's definitely gone way too soon. Such a talent, man. Owen Hart, man. May God bless him, man. Definitely. Since 26 years yesterday, he's been gone.
So one thing I want to add to that is the fact that on a good note, tomorrow, my homeboy, man of the hour, his birthday, he'll be the same age as me, 47. Damn, you're old. It seemes like it was yesterday. I was your age, but anyway, you're my age. But anyway, me and him, back in those days, man, we were like 18, 19. We used to get beer. get beer and watch pay-per-views every Sunday, man. And I'll never forget. We were watching that pay-per-view. All of a sudden, it goes blank, and next thing you know, you hear Jim Hart says, "Hey, man, this is not part of the script. Unfortunately, Owen Hart passed away." So yeah, I remember
Yeah.
it very well, man. He was supposed to be the Blue Meanie or something like that. Not Blue Meanie, but some.
The blue
He was,
blazer. The blue
Blue
blazer.
Blazer. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the blue blazer.
But yeah,
You
I remember
know.
watching it live. Me and
It's
my homeboy, man of the hour, man, on pay per view, man. That was our.
yeah.
As a matter of fact, man, wrestling was so good that I really didn't. I really wasn't paying attention to football season because, like, you know what? I mean, it's like this really held us over until football season.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely, man. Definitely. You know.
yeah,
Three gentlemen that actually have paved the way for a lot of the guys that's out today to be able to do what they're doing. And
yeah,
it's just sad that they're not here to see, what a lot of the guys that's doing today. It's just sad, with Sabu and oh, there go the man of the hour right there. Happy early birthday, brother. What's going on?
happy birthday. What's going on? Shout out to Timothy. What's going on? Man of the hour.
Hey,
Dead for
my
life.
man Tim, what's going on, TC?
I don't look a day over 59. Yep, exactly. Thank you, man. Listen, that's the nicest thing Michael K has ever said to me. I appreciate that, Mike. Uh, by the way, Dolphin Winters, did you know that Buffalo has 0 Super Bowls? Buffalo. I'm sorry,
Oh
Buffalo.
man, you didn't have to remind me that. And
And
to remind you, they were
hey,
they were the only team. Wait, they were the only team that voted against the tush push. Hmm. In the AFC East to be exact. So, what does that say
uh,
about the Buffalo Bills? Mm-mm-mm.
fiction over. Yeah, I did. You fiction over reality. Yep, exactly. I guess that makes me a bad person then, huh, Michael K? Thank you. Anyway, Michael K. He's looking for. He needs attention this morning, so let's give him a little of attention. He woke up miserable this morning. He's like, you know what? Let me go mess with somebody. So, hey, thank you for the view, though, Michael K. Real talk. Appreciate you.
Mhm.
So, what's going on, Timothy? What's going on, man of the hour? How are you doing this fine day?
I'm good, just here chilling. Thanks for all the birthday shout outs from
Oh
last
yeah,
night all the way till today. You know, um, to touch on some of the stuff y'all were talking about, with Sabu and McMichael, RIP to them. Owen Hart as well. You know, like
Mhm.
like you said, Owen gone too soon. And I do remember, as you said, we were drinking beer and all that good stuff we used to do. I do remember that it's crazy because it was 2 days before my birthday and it was a Sunday night. We're watching that and it happens. And do you know that was the year we were getting ready for Alexa's prom?
yeah,
Because I remember we were looking for the hotel to go to and we were waiting on transportation to pick us up. And Inside Edition came on because we were just sitting there waiting. And that's what they talked about, the Owen Hart situation. And usually shows like that don't really touch on anything of wrestling unless it's something major. And that was something that was major. So I do remember that day like it was yesterday, bro. Like that night, just watching that, and they're just cutting the cameras to the audience the whole time, and like as fans, we're as at home watching on TV, we don't know what's going on until, like you said, until Jim Ross said something,
yeah,
So
Right.
it's crazy that that happened, and live, and then wrestling took, like, well, the WWE took a big hit with criticism because there was a lot of conversation about should the show have went on and all this other crap. And
Right.
people were saying that, oh, they're money hungry and this and that, they wouldn't want to refund the people. And I'm like, well, I mean, what happened to the saying of the show must go on? I mean, yeah, it was a tragic situation. I get it. I'm not trying
Right.
to be insensitive about it, but like, you know, shit happens, I guess. And I mean, that's something that shouldn't have happened, but it did.
Right.
Yeah,
And we are well into the like what past the middle of the show.
yeah. I mean, if you look what happened, remember the Cincinnati Buffalo game?
Yeah. It was, yeah.
The players they asked the players if they wanted to continue, but the players didn't want to go on. So I think
Right.
that was the reason
And
why they stopped the game.
I think it was more of like with that's true. And I think with wrestling, I think it was had a lot to do with asking the guys in the back if they wanted to continue. I mean, you see one of the first persons that to cut a promo was Jeff Jarrett, and he couldn't even stay in character,
Mm-hmm.
because him
No.
and Owen were good
Not at all.
friends. So
Yeah.
that he couldn't
Right.
even be that heel that he's supposed to be. And we're watching this man, he's trying to cut a promo, he's in tears, glassy eyes and stuff like that. Like, I'm like, it's really hard for these guys to go out there and perform. But I have never heard not one wrestler, even all the way up to today, because everybody is so upfront using their platforms and saying what they want to say and don't need a news writer to say it for them. I have never heard a person say that we didn't want to continue. So I mean, I don't know what was said back then, but I mean, it's not being said today either. I had never heard it. I don't know if any of you had heard any of one of the wrestlers that was there at that time say something of that nature. I just know I never heard it.
Hey,
You
shout out
know,
to my man Scott Jackson in the building. What's up, Scott Jackson? How you doing, brother?
Owen Hart, he went
I'll
out
say
there.
this.
Hmm.
Well, Vince. Vince was the judge, jury, and executioner back then. So it was up to Vince. It wasn't up to the wrestlers. Vince, it's sad to say this, but Vince was that type of dude. Because he mentioned this when it happened on one of his interviews. They had an interview with him, and he basically said in a professional way. He said because they asked him, they said, was there a thought of you stopping the show? And he said no. He said no. He said the
And
show must go on.
yeah, I guarantee you. Listen, Linda McMahon, his wife at the time, or one of his kids at the time, I would have that happened to one of his kids or him, or his wife, whatever, he wouldn't have stopped the show for them either.
Right.
I think he
Well,
would have
shit, think
continued.
about it. His son got thrown through fucking real glass by Kurt Angle not once but twice, and he was even worried, and he wanted them to stop, and they said no, we're gonna keep going. So they actually went over his head because Vince didn't know. Vince thought the glass was fake, but the glass wasn't fake. The glass was real because the
Yeah,
first
that's why he
time
landed on his
Kurt tried
head.
to throw him, and he bounced. Yeah, he bounced off the glass. He bounced off because he didn't throw him hard enough. So the next time he threw him, he said, "You got to throw me harder." He threw him harder. He threw him through, and that's when Vince was losing his fucking mind. So yeah, I definitely get it, man. But because we could talk about different incidents. Mick Foley fucking flying off of the Hell in a Cell, you know, like that right
Mhm.
there. I've never seen Vince that concerned until I seen that. When I seen that, and he was like, "Holy shit," because nobody knew how this was gonna look, you know.
Mhm.
And when it finally went down, and you could see the concern on Undertaker's face, even though Undertaker agreed to sit there and do the spot, you could see the concern on everybody's face because even the announcers didn't even know. The announcers had no idea that a 300-pound man was going to be flying towards them during their during their
Well,
deliberations or commentary of the
what
match.
wasn't it? I believe it was Jim Ross that yelled out, "Oh my God, he's dead!" After the Mick
Yeah,
Foley,
yeah.
after Mick Foley went flying off the cage. I think it was Jim Ross that lost his
Mhm.
mind when he said that. And shout out to Jim
Fucking
Ross. You
Jimmy.
know, Jim Ross is going through a
Yeah.
cancer thing right now. You know,
What's going on, Elwood?
prayers
Yes,
for
he
him.
is
Yeah,
definitely.
President, I think he has a big part of why AEW is having their success. He's been a big instrumental part. You know, he's a really
Well,
good
he
wrestling
hasn't
mind.
been lately with them like that, and he doesn't really commentate as often as he does. He does only like pay-per-views and just main event matches now. He don't even do the whole shows anymore.
Yeah, but he's still a good talent scout. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, true, but
Oh,
I
come
mean,
on, that dude's a legend.
that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to come up here today was to talk about the direction that they're going in AEW. They're kind of like falling off a cliff to me, and that's because not to take away
Well,
from the wrestling talent. I'm just talking about story modes and stuff like that. I mean, it like certain things is kind of like for me, we're looking at some copycat things, and I know we've seen it in AEW, I mean WCW and WWE back in the day, but to make it just looks so just flat out straight doing what the WWE is doing. We just seen the Gunther and Pat McAfee situation because Gunther was bullying Michael Cole, and now we're seeing it with
and then you
FTR
got, yeah,
doing the same
yeah.
thing with they did the exact same thing, bro. Like, you know, and another
with
thing I don't,
Nigel McGuinness, yeah,
yeah, they're doing the same exact thing. Like, I don't really. I'm like, bro, are we really gonna do this? Like, you just gonna straight up and say, hey, we're gonna just do exactly what you're doing. So WWE just go ahead and do what you do, so we have something to fall back on too, and we're just gonna do that just a little bit differently. Gunther was a singles match. This is gonna be a tag match. I mean, but it's almost the same thing, and it's kind of
right.
like to me, it's one of those
He's
things like you know you got a book and a movie, but they kind of change things. You know, it's kind of like that.
exactly. I was, I
That's
was,
what it
I was
kind of
about
is.
because I was about to say something on that. I was about to say something on that because the only difference is Pat McAfee. I respect Pat McAfee as an NFL player. As a professional wrestler, you got my respect. You went in there, you did some things, and you've done things in the past. And I watched a couple of your matches. But you are not no Nigel McGuinness, which he will go down as one of the best Ring of Honor champions of all time.
Right.
And that man, even though that he's older now, that man can go. He can still go, even at the age that he is now. That dude is a fucking beast. See, if you watch Ring of Honor back in the day when they had CM Punk, when they had a lot of these wrestlers that's excuse me, in WWE, like your Tyler Black, aka now Seth Rollins, and different
Mm-hmm.
things like that. When you have your Kevin Steen, aka now Kevin Owens. Like I watched all these guys come up in Ring of Honor before they were in WWE. I was watching Samoa Joe in Ring of Honor. I was
Mm-hmm.
watching AJ Styles in Ring of Honor. I was watching a lot of these guys. Your Adam Cole's in Ring of Honor. Your Briscoes in Ring of Honor. Like I watched a lot of these guys before they got to the stardom to your AEWs and your WWEs and your New Japans.
Yeah.
So people got to understand. You might want to put a little bit more respect because I'm gonna be honest with you, Pat McAfee, great athlete. I love Pat McAfee. I love what he brings to professional wrestling. He for me as a worker, he did what he could do, but he was not in shape, and he didn't work. Now Nigel McGuinness is going to work this Sunday when they go in the ring with when Danny Garcia teams up with him and he goes against
Mm-hmm.
FTR. That could be a sleeper match of that whole pay per view. Seriously, that could be maybe the second or third best match of that whole card on
Yeah.
that pay per view.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. And before we
go ahead.
continue, real quick, before we continue, I just remember something. I'm glad. I just wanted to wait a little bit. I just want to announce me and Winters. We talked about it privately, and he's if he's up for it, man, we're gonna make this a permanent mainstay even during the season. So this is not going
Yes,
away.
sir.
As long as Winters is down with it, yeah, this is gonna be. I spoke to El Cap. El Capitan says he's down with it. So yeah, so this is look for this
Amen.
to be a permanent staple here at the Finn's Tailgate. Dubby Energy Wrestling
Well,
Talk, not just off
I
season.
want to say I want to say thank you to you and El Capitan and people like Man of the Hour and Anthony and Mr. Polk and Lance and uh, Dwight or Dwayne, the other brother that comes up. If I got his name wrong, I apologize. To all the people that like to talk professional wrestling, I just enjoy that you guys, like yourself, Shake, have had a space for us to be able to talk professional
Mhm.
wrestling. This is something that I love. Yeah, I enjoy the entertainment or whatever, but I have been watching this since the age of 2. So it ain't like, this is like, oh, this is just a hobby. No, I really been in the ring. I've really taken bumps. I've, seen people get fucked up. Like I've seen the behind the scenes and it's no joke. So, I always shout out a lot of these men and women that you see on TV, and even the ones that you don't see on TV. They got my utmost respect because I'm going to tell you something. It takes a whole nother different type of psychological standpoint to be able to sit there and do what these men and women do day in and day out for our entertainment. So I appreciate this, man. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they make a lot. They make a lot. What a lot of people don't realize is they make a lot of sacrifice. Cause man, they give up a lot of time on the road and traveling around to the point
They
where they're
don't have
not.
off.
Um,
It's
hold on. Let me finish, Anthony. Hold on.
sorry.
To the point where they're not spending time with their families and this and that. So it takes a lot out of them. And as good a shape they may be in, all that traveling takes it takes a lot out of your body. So, just like you said, Dolphin Williams, much respect to them. I've been watching wrestling ever since I was a little kid. I didn't go as many matches as I would like to have gone, but I've been following wrestling ever since I was a little kid. So, kudos to all to the wrestlers for
And
their
this is what I
performance.
don't get, Mr. Polk, is
Uh huh.
pe- people who watch uh, football and other sports say, I don't say it's fake. I say it's scripted.
Hmm.
Winters, is there a difference between fake and scripted in your opinion?
It's scripted. It's predetermined. So it's not like, and even so, Anthony, they have to make things on the fly. Like we just seen this past Monday night. Unfortunately, Zoe Stark is out with another injury. She just came back off an injury, just like
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie saying. She just came back off injury, and it was a three-way match between her, those two, and Rhea Ripley. And just unfortunately, the spot where she does the missile drop kick, she sat there and it was just misjudged by maybe a few inches, and she's now out for probably maybe a year. And I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm not trying to be
They're saying it
pessimistic on the
might be career
situation,
ending.
but and or yeah, that too. Because if she's coming back off of the same injury, it's sad to say that, and I didn't really want to say that, but reality is what it is, Anthony. And you,
Yeah,
you might have called it.
she tore her that same ACL, I think.
Oh man, yeah, that might be career ending.
Do
Yeah.
you?
And
Yeah, and what people forget also too, Dolphin, these people like Mr. Polk said, these people are working 365. They don't have
yes,
off
Yeah,
weeks like
facts.
the big guys get off weeks, but the guys on the lower end are
Yeah.
working every
No,
day.
no, no, no,
And,
no,
and,
no.
and
That is
listen, Anthony, I
false.
want you to think
you
The
about
that's
this
guys
for
too.
that
that's for
right,
all of them.
I want you to
Even
think
the
about this
ones that's
too.
on the
They're
low
on the
end.
road. It's like they're on the road too. You remember, even if
Yeah,
they're on their days off, they're driving to their next destination.
yeah, man. They're on the road, and
you gotta.
regardless of if they're low end wrestlers or not, it's a busy lifestyle. And I'm gonna tell you something else. You have to be in good shape to do. It's not just to me. It's not just the performance in the ring. It's what you're doing to go to these performances. You got to
Yeah.
be in good shape. This ain't no.
No,
This
I'll say
ain't
this
no
to
thing to
no,
you.
just
no
do.
what I mean by off, is they're not competing in the ring. The top guys get like 6 or 7 months off
Hmm.
No, they
of
don't.
competing in the
No,
ring.
they don't. I can stop you right there. Let
They
me
do
stop you. Let me stop
promotion.
you right there. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. Your boy Roman Reigns, and as much as I really am not a fan of Roman Reigns never gets a day off. Even when
He
you
doesn't.
think you don't see him on camera or on TV, he don't get time off. The only time he gets time off is when they write him off the script. And that could be, think about this. Remember, he was the double champion. He held the title. There was a time where that you seen that man every day. SmackDown, Raw. Then you got to think about the appearances he's got to make during the day. Then you got to think about he has to work out. Then you got to take care of your own personal life. So if you do go home, you might be home for a day, and then you're back out on the road again doing promotion. When you're the champion, if you're like, for example, when you're John Cena, let's take that for example. He's the current champion right now, the greatest of all time right now. John Cena is not only doing professional wrestling, he's also doing appearances, Comic Cons, radio stations. He's also doing promotion for the Peacemaker and all that Hollywood shit too. Exactly. So you gotta always think, even when you see your champions, because the champions never get time off, and even your regular, let's say this, Chelsea Green right now. Chelsea Green is probably one of the hottest female wrestlers in the world today. And when I say that woman, she says, take every second and make something of it. Meaning, if you get a 20, make sure you take that 20 seconds and make an impression. That's why she's one of the hottest, not just women, but one of the hottest professional wrestlers in the game right now. Because they understand, hey, we got to make the best of our opportunity.
Winners, I'm gonna bring up someone.
Opportunity.
I'm gonna bring
somebody
up
else
someone.
will.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up someone. Brock is a perfect example of this. He was champion. He was the only. He even said himself in interviews he didn't do any live events. He didn't. He only.
Yeah, because that was Vince. That was Vince. Because that was Vince. Vince was like, okay, whatever you want, and that was Vince. Vince,
oh, that was more Vince than
yeah, that was Vince. Vince got to say so. Vince had to say so on all of that.
And the other wrestler, the only other wrestler that did that was Undertaker, but he did like 20 years of nonstop work for him. So you know what I'm saying? It wasn't until he was like 40 years in the 30 or 40 years into the business before he started getting
starting to do that
days
too.
off. You know what I mean?
Right, and I want to mention
starting to do that too. Where
and I want to
always stayed in character.
Go ahead.
Jay's the hottest.
What's funny is Undertaker didn't do interviews. Like, he's doing a lot of interviews now, but he before he retired, you never seen him do an interview anywhere.
He was so dedicated to the character.
That was the reason. He was an old school guy. He was one of the last old school guys where because I'm gonna be honest with you, Undertaker clearly said this. He doesn't like a lot of the fraternizing with everybody. If you're a heel, you're a heel. You're a face, you're a face. Not after the match, we're gonna go play video games and all this stuff. Like, but the thing about it is, the newer guys be like, well, we ain't go to the fucking bar and get fucking trash and fuck the whole bar up either. So it was like a cause and a.
But I can't understand where Undertaker
match
is.
Making people in the crowd make us think that we hate each other. After we're done, we're traveling with each other. But back in the day, it wasn't like that. We know this. You know, Mr. Pop knows this. Man, Albert knows this. Shake knows this. All you guys know, but back in the day, they kept that shit kayfabe completely in and outside of the ring. So he was an old school guy. He came
and
from
I think it's a generational thing too, Dolphin.
You didn't sit there and
you
go
agree?
chill with the guy that you fucked up that night.
You agree with me? It's a generational thing. Some of these kids competed with each other in the independents, and they became friends way before they came to WWE. So I can understand why it's like once they separate themselves from the storyline, they're hanging around with each other and stuff like that, because half of these guys grew up with each other in the independents and stuff like that. And I think that split, what you're saying, the split where the locker rooms and the buses were split, ended after the Ruthless Aggression era. They actually mix the buses now. They don't have a split.
And also too, I want to bring up this too. When some of these wrestlers get injured, it's not really that much time off for them, because they may go back home, but they can't really sit. Some of these wrestlers cannot just sit down. With the injury, they actually try
Rehab.
to start training and rehab and try to get back as quickly as they can. A good example of that is Charlotte Flair, because she had a bad injury, and I didn't realize it until I happened to see a video of her on the internet talking about the injury and how bad it was, and working out and all that. And I'm gonna tell you something else too. some of these wrestlers have spouses that are in the same that are wrestling also. Some with them and some separate, and it has a strain on their relationship as well. So that's why I say, we may look at wrestling and think that it's not, it's not that harsh, but it really is. It's a lifestyle that you have to be prepared for physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Yeah,
You
the
have to really
business
be
killed a
prepared.
whole bunch of people because of that.
Of course, of
Yeah,
course,
buddy.
Vader, uh,
of course.
uh, not Owen, Pillman Senior, a
Mhm.
lot, like a lot of, and I think that's what happened to
Yeah.
But look what
Sabu.
happened. Look what happened to
Oh
Chris.
man.
Look what happened to Chris Benoit.
Oh, Eddie Guerrero
The
too.
business. The business.
The business.
Them chair shots. Them chair
Yeah,
shots and
exactly.
doing the fucking flying headbutt. They
Hmm.
warned him. They warned him when he started doing that finisher. They said, dude, that might be you might want to change your finisher. He said, no, I'm never changing my finisher. And that was always his finisher
Who?
was a flying headbutt.
Oh,
And
his.
then you gotta remember go ahead.
Chris Benoit's headbutt. He refused. I thought he had a shot like a submission finisher.
Yeah, but that
He had
was
the SPF, but he
that was
was
the precursor to for this for the finisher.
Hmm.
right.
Yeah.
Because he would do the SPF.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
them headshots is what got them messed up. That why. Do y'all remember the time when Mr. Kennedy was supposed to face um Jeff Hardy in
Eddie.
a main event,
Hmm.
and that same week, the TV show before the pay-per-view, Jeff Hardy clocks him in the back with a chair, and it hits him in the back of the head.
Hmm.
The main event is destroyed now because he can't go because he got a concussion.
Yeah.
Yep.
You bring up Jeff Hardy. I have a perfect example of what happens to a wrestler because of injuries. Did you guys see his pay per
Uh-oh.
view event? His pay per view match with
Sting.
Sting
Yeah.
Yep.
in TNA?
Yep.
How
But Sting and
people complain that
TNA,
he came in drunk.
remember that.
He
Hey
was
man,
high.
real quick. I have to make the special announcement. Coming to the ring at 565 pounds, all the way from Japan. It's Yokozuna.
That's that
What's
damn
going on?
crypto. I'm gonna fuck
Hey,
you up, crypto, with
I'm,
Zokozuna today.
I'm
I
ready to
gotta
come
get
off
Chris.
the top turnbuckle on all you. I'm
I
coming
gotta
off the
get.
top turnbuckle.
Oh man, you trying to
I
kill
gotta
her?
get Chris. I gotta give Chris
You trying to
his
kill us all?
man. Good.
Yeah,
Just yesterday he had some kind of scary avatar on,
Uh
and
huh.
Hey,
Crypto, you be doing it up, Crypto.
appreciate you,
You be doing it up.
King of 26. Appreciate you.
I
yeah.
saw a thing on YouTube. It was saying the most feared or most one wrestler that nobody wanted beef with, and they gave up
Haku.
that. Yeah, that's right off the
No,
bat.
And Harley
People,
Race. They said Harley Race and Aku are the
they
top.
said it was
Harley Race.
between Haku, the Dead
Yes.
Man, uh, Brock Lesnar,
Yeah, Brock was
and
one.
like
Yeah, I remember Brock
Kurt
being
one
on
other
Angle.
there.
guy. And
Kurt.
I was like, everybody was saying Brock Lesnar. I was like, look, everybody wasn't really. I mean, they didn't want no beef with them,
Yeah, he was a
but
lunatic.
yeah, but Haku
Haku
like
was
had that
Half
different,
of those
bro.
Samoans were
That man
Haku
is
crazy.
had that
different.
extra level.
You know who another dude? Believe it or not, you know who another dude was that was nobody wanted to mess with? Mr. Wonderful. That dude. They said that dude was a crazy.
Facts.
Hold
He
on.
was
Yeah,
crazy as fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh
No,
my god. He
fall
beat
on
the
dog.
shit out
Yeah,
of Vader. He beat the shit out of Vader. He beat Vader ass in the back.
I tell you
Yeah.
another.
I remember
Wearing,
Everybody
his
hey,
was
match
wearing
saying
with
flip
that.
Hogan.
flops. Wearing flip flops.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I tell you
flip
another.
flops. Yeah, that dude.
Kevin Sullivan. That's another crazy
Yeah.
one. Kevin Sullivan.
Oh,
Kevin Sullivan was so he was
nuts.
so
That
deep in
dude.
that darkness, man. That joke was scary because he started he had fights with Dusty Rhodes, and he would actually carry some kind of spike in his shorts, and I mean he would bust people wide open with that spike.
And you know what's funny is I heard Shane McMahon on Stone Cold's podcast, and he said, "Who are the real badasses in real life?" And one of the names he gave me surprised me was Doink the Clown. He said,
Doink?
he's a
Yeah, he
real
was
life
wild,
Doink the
bro.
clown?
He
What?
was wild. He was
Yeah,
wild.
because
He was
Yeah, I
wild.
mean,
Yo, look. I want you. Wait.
but wait.
I want y'all to look up Dark Side of Wrestling, and they have a Doink the Clown episode. Dude was a wild dude, yo. Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing.
he was.
Anybody
Yeah.
that dresses up like that,
Yeah.
and you better be.
It's weird. We don't talk about we always talk about men with toughness, but would you want to mess with Fabulous Moolah or
No.
Mae Young?
Well,
No,
maybe
Well,
not.
first of all,
I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
want to. I wouldn't want to mess with China.
any.
I wouldn't mess
Oh
with. I
God,
wouldn't mess with Wendy
I wouldn't
Richter.
mess with any wrestler. Period.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
wouldn't even mess with
I would
Olympia
mess with any
from the
wrestler.
No,
Globe. Boy,
that's
the
what I'm
ladies of
saying.
wrestling.
We always talk about the male wrestlers when it comes to toughness. We never
Yeah,
talk about
she's
the
pretty tough.
having to
Well,
deal
shit,
with all
Maddie.
that sexism when they were.
Shit. Maddie Neidhart,
Maddie,
fucking
yeah.
Melunja Briggs,
What-
aka
what was it?
Medusa. Medusa was a professional
Medusa,
kickboxer.
that's who I was thinking of. The
Right.
blonde, right?
Yeah,
The crazy looking
Medusa.
blonde. Yeah.
yup, the blonde.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Lita
She
is
was.
crazy.
Richter.
Lita to me,
You'll
they
find
say
a
she's
Whoa! Y'all forgetting the main one, Luna Bashan.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God, she was bona fide and sick.
Jacqueline.
Luna Bashan was. Jacqueline was. I met Jacqueline. She short, but she was some
I
ass.
don't know.
Nah, she
Let's not
was some
forget.
ass. I got some stories about Jacqueline.
Let's not forget China.
Yeah, that's what I
They
said.
say
Yeah, I've
Charmel
always
is
been
someone
one
you
of
don't
the
want to
best
mess with
workers.
either.
China was China. Good grief, that girl was.
Booker's
talking about
wife,
somebody
they
Yeah.
said, was
built
someone you
big
don't
and
want to mess
strong?
with either.
Who you said, Anthony?
Charmel.
Oh yeah, Booker's wife, Charmel.
Oh yeah. Wait a minute, but you know what?
By the way, that was
Dolphin
Doink,
Williams.
that's
I
Doink
gotta
the
ask
Clown's
Dolphin Williams
real.
something
That's Doink the
before I
Clown's real
forget.
name. Matt Bourne. That was his real name.
Dolphin Williams, do you remember when the Harlem Heat came together? It was a tall black lady that used to be with them. And I'm trying to. I don't know if you talk on. I wish I could remember.
That was. If I'm correct, that was either Booker's wife or because you had remember you had Jacqueline with them first. Jacqueline was with them first. Then they put Sensational Sherry with them. Then, if I'm correct,
Oh
in
yeah, I
between they
remember
had
Sensational
the tall
Sherry.
female. and
Sherry.
I think the tall female was Charmel.
No, this lady I'm talking about actually
Was she
wrestled.
muscled?
She was with them for
Booker's
a
wife
little bit.
wrestles,
She was
bro.
actually
Wait. Don't you realize that Booker T's wife wrestles too?
Yeah, I don't
Well, she
remember
does
her being
wrestle,
that
too.
tall though. How tall was she?
no, but she was kind of tall. This lady I'm talking about was kind of tall. She was taller than Booker's wife.
Was she
I don't think
around the same size as China?
I
She was
would
probably-
say
I think I know
I
who
know-
you're talking about.
I
but
I
I
don't
can't
know. China was 6 foot, wasn't she?
Oh man,
well,
I
she
know
was
who
just
he's.
with them. She was
This
with
chick
them
was
briefly.
tall. I
and
know you
she
talking.
I know.
She was like a freak of nature.
She was
black
a
chick.
Right, this
big,
girl I'm
black,
talking about, she was kind of
muscular.
a freak of nature. In fact, I tell you what, she was built similar to China, but not so.
Wait, is it the girl? Is it the
Oh,
girl that used
I
to
know
hang
what
around
you're
with the
talking
Bush
about.
Blossoms?
Oh my
Is
goodness,
it-
I can't think of
Say
that
it
lady.
again, Anthony. Say that again, Anthony.
Was she the manager for Doug and Danny Basham? Is that who you're talking
this-
about?
Yes. That's exactly who. But what's her name? That's exactly who that is.
But this is a
But what's
black
her
girl.
name though?
The one I'm talking about is a black girl because she also
No.
got in the ring and wrestled.
That's a black chick. Nah, who Anthony's talking about is probably the same person that you're talking about. I just don't
Okay.
know who her name is. I know exactly
Yeah,
because she was diesel as hell, and she had braids.
yeah, that's a.
She was
That's
no
a.
joke. She was with, yeah.
But
I
she
just
can
don't know what
wrestle
her
too,
fucking
right?
name is. Yeah, she can wrestle. Yeah,
Yeah,
But-
that's what I'm talking about, man. She was just with them briefly. Because I thought
But
she was their
W-
sister, but she wasn't.
no.
There was
But
a
WCW
black woman that fucking killed it. I mean, beat the shit out of everybody. I forgot her name. She wasn't in WWE or
Awesome Kong.
uh
Awesome Kong.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness!
awesome
You
Kong.
say
Yeah.
that. Oh, you talking about
Awesome Kong.
man?
That
He's a
that that
monster, bro.
Devastate,
Her name was
devastating
Shaniqua.
monster.
Shaniqua.
Shaniqua.
That,
Shaniqua.
that's. I
Okay.
think that's it, Anthony. I think that's it. I think that's her name. I think that's what. I
She
think that's
was.
what her
I
name
think
was.
It was
wasn't
Harlem
she the
Heat.
wrestler that recently accused? Like, wasn't she? I thought she was the one that accused a whole bunch of wrestlers of like a wrestler. I think she was the one that accused. Nah, I think it was her in an interview that said The Rock wasn't involved with like. Was it her
Oh,
or someone else?
that woman.
Oh
That
no,
might have been somebody else. I don't
that's a
think it was
different.
that woman. That's a
No,
different
that's a
person.
different woman. The one I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
that's a completely different
Just
woman.
she was in wrestling briefly. She was with the Howling Heat, and then I think she did do a little manager, but then she just dropped off. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
no,
anyway, like I
it's
said,
weird when it comes to women's wrestlers. It's rare that you
uh huh.
see women that big. It's at the max,
Well, you
like
got
Well,
some big. You got some
well,
big women in wrestling, bro.
well,
Trust
no,
me.
I
no.
think
But what I'm saying in terms of girls that are sure back when Charmel and Jacqueline started wrestling, most women weren't above 5'9". Like
Wendy
right.
Richter. I think Wendy Richter was. I think she was kind of
6 feet.
tall
She was
and
close
well
to six
built.
feet, wasn't she?
She wasn't muscular. She wasn't built like China, but I think Wendy
No.
Richter was kind of tall because she wasn't no short lady. She was, she had a nice figure and everything, but she was tall because I
no,
think
but in general, when you look at the wrestlers back then, half the women were like
yeah,
in
some of them were short. Yeah, I agree, but every now and then you had some that
it
was
was
tall like
rare
Wendy Richter.
cases. It was rare
Hey,
cases.
I want Jade Cargill to beat me up.
We know that, Lance. Damn it.
But anyway,
You know who I compare to China all the time? Rhea Ripley. Rhea.
Yeah, I always thought that.
yeah, but I'm trying. But do y'all think she's bigger than China?
No,
No,
Because
she's
that's
around the same size.
Taller. Taller.
No,
okay,
Listen, the only
taller.
difference,
Okay,
hey, the only difference between
is
China and
Rhea
Rhea
taller?
Ripley,
Because China was 6 foot, dude.
hey,
no,
one of the
no,
difference between
no,
Rhea,
Rhea's
Rhea,
no,
about 6 feet.
China was that tall.
no.
Was
Ripley
China
is
that tall?
5'11". She just has
Oh,
wider shoulders.
Oh shit.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh
that's
yeah,
Okay.
that's
yeah.
like an inch.
You know what,
That's
Anthony's right on that.
5'11" is an inch of 6 inches. I mean, of six
She got
foot.
wide. She got wide shoulders. Anthony, right
She's got
on that
wide
part.
shoulders.
She
yeah.
got wide shoulders.
Listen, no, no difference between China and Rhea Ripley is I'd give it to Rhea Ripley.
Wait,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Well,
hold on.
yeah. I would say yeah.
I don't
She's
know,
more.
man.
The
No, she's
girl,
more feminine than
the
China.
the
Rhea
Right.
hold
Ripley is
on.
Listen,
more
I'd give
feminine
it
than
to
China.
Rhea Ripley versus China. You can't give it to her. She'd want to give it to you. So that's the difference.
Hold on. Hey, going back to the woman that you guys were talking about. Her name was Midnight.
I don't
Midnight.
remember.
Midnight.
Okay. All right.
Midnight. Okay.
Yeah. Midnight.
That
It
doesn't
was
Oh,
even
so
ring
Harlem
a
it
Heat
bell.
with
wasn't
Midnight.
Shaniqua? Because Shaniqua had been around in the business for a
No.
while. She
No,
was
her
in
name was
No, no.
Midnight.
WCW for
This lady I'm talking about, like I said, she was with Harlem Heat, and she actually was a wrestler, and she wasn't some. I mean, to me, I thought she had a bright future, but she was just with in wrestling briefly. And the way I know is because she was with Harlem Heat, and she got in the ring. In fact, she came to the ring a couple times. Harlem Heat wrestled
you.
and interfered in their matches.
Yeah.
You know, actually, Trick Williams' mother was a wrestler.
Midnight. Good grief,
Mhm.
man! All of you on your wrestling, man.
Mhm.
That name still doesn't even ring a bell.
No, it does to me.
For
And
me, I think
I grew up in with the 70s.
Yeah, I'm trying to
see,
Watching in the
remember
and for
too,
me,
man.
70s. That
when
that
it comes to
Yeah,
the
that
style
I'm
of
trying to
wrestling, I
remember
feel
too,
is the
Lance.
toughest. To be honest, I think Lucha Libre is the toughest because in Mexico, Rey Mysterio actually said this. The rings they basically wrestled on were basically cardboard. The mat was very thin. They were basically wrestling on the frame and stuff like that. Like Ray
Tougher than
said,
Guerrero?
Mhm.
Eddie Guerrero?
no, Ray Mysterio.
No, Rey Mysterio.
I
Yeah,
was going to say Eddie Guerrero was shit.
That was the man.
See, out of the Guerrero family, I liked Mondo the best.
I loved fucking Eddie Guerrero, man. That guy just cracked me up.
I like
Fucking-
Chavo better than
he
Eddie
played-
for some reason.
Nah.
Yo, Shake, I
Nah,
just sent you a picture of her. Post it up here, and y'all tell me if that's the girl y'all talking about.
Okay,
Okay.
it's in the private chat.
Yeah, dude.
No, I sent it. I
I'm
sent it
looking
to
at
his.
her. She looked like Aunt Viv on steroids.
Yeah, I sent
Yep,
it to
and
his.
that's her. That's exactly what it is. If you
Put
if
it.
you can,
Put.
you
Show
can-
it up here and
yeah.
see.
yeah. If it's exactly who everybody's saying it, yep, then it is her.
Is there
And you
is there
said
a big
Aunt Viv on
a big
steroids,
guy
yep.
wrestler you guys feel
I would
gets
know it when I
underestimated? Like in terms of athleticism, because how big he is that you guys seen growing up? Like a guy who was around the same size as a Braun Strowman or the Big Show, because of his size, his athleticism.
Mike Awesome. Mike Awesome was one of the first big guys. Mike Awesome was one of the first big guys that I seen was doing swanton bombs, and this man was like 6'4", 6'5".
Is
What's
that
the
Mark?
name?
Wait, is Mike Awesome and are you? I'm thinking of Mark Jindrak, right?
No, Mike Awesome. ECW Mike Awesome.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
The
ECW
reason
Mike
why
Awesome.
I know about Mike Jindrak is because I watched. I didn't know him because of WCW. I didn't watch WCW at all. I found out him because of his work in Mexico when he was working with like AAA and what's it called, and CMLL and stuff like that.
Right.
And I haven't heard that name in a
Yeah.
while.
And
Anthony
people
Mack Jr.
don't realize how athletic the guy was.
Mhm.
Okay,
And
that's
there was another.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's her.
That's
That's
exactly.
her.
Yep, that's
That's
her.
her right there.
That's her. Yep.
That's her. That's what I was
We was
talking
like, who
about.
the fuck was that? Because I'll never forget the one night. I think they was having problems with a
She
female
kind of
wrestler,
you know
and they, yeah,
how she's built.
That
She
is
kind of
her.
looks like how Jordan Grace is. She's built very like.
yeah.
If you've seen how Jordan Grace looks, that's how this.
Oh yeah, I know who you talking about.
Boy, Jordan Grace had a
Good
body
grief.
change like boy.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. I mean, big time.
Big
Cause I
time,
remember when she.
big time transformation.
Yes, man. Big. I mean, she was more. When I says I'm not putting her down, I'm not putting no women down. She's to me. She started off with with a feminine type body, but man, did she start getting more? She started getting
She's a
more
bodybuilder.
too much on the. No, I know, but I know
The
she. What I'm
bodybuilding.
saying is that she started to get more masculine with the bodybuilding. I mean, some women work out to the point where okay, this good enough, but she, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. We think when we look at girls like Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, and Asuka, because how skinny they look, people think they're not strong. But
Oh no, I
What?
wouldn't.
Yeah,
Not
they
me.
monsters.
Not
Every
me.
single one of them held.
This
Every
is
single one of them
good
women
point,
that you just
Anthony.
named
to me.
held the.
Any
That's a good
Yeah,
point, Anthony.
yeah, yeah,
no, but
yeah.
to me,
Every
any
single one of
wrestler
them.
that's no, go ahead, Dolphin Winners.
Any one of those women that you just named would murder. No disrespect to a lot of the female in the locker room, but they would murder a lot of those females if they actually had a whole knockout, drag out matches. Are you serious? I've seen those women wrestle in Japan. All three of them
yeah,
are phenomenal.
yeah,
I mean, when I say
don't they have a
phenomenal,
mixed
Hey,
martial
Dolphins
arts
winners, will
background?
you get in the ring with them?
fuck no. I wouldn't.
Well,
I'd be
well,
yo. I
I
don't
tell
give
you,
a fuck, yo. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. To train with a woman is gonna be harder on you than a man is.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
tell you
true.
that shit straight up. If you gotta sit there and train, that woman's gonna sit there and take you to your fucking break. You think the man gonna take you
The
to your break?
person I would
No, the
Right.
woman's gonna really take you to your break.
well,
People
Dolph Lundgren,
underestimate her because of her size. The person I don't want to really mess with is Selena Vega. Zelina's crazy as hell, to be honest.
Selena.
Lena crazy,
but you know
but
who
she
she married?
good. She's really good.
Anthony, you know who she married
Yeah,
to?
Alistair Black.
Right, exactly.
absolutely.
But let me say this, and like I said, this is no disrespect. When I look at some of these women wrestlers, and don't get me wrong for saying it, I be thinking to myself, you know what? It's certain women wrestlers I would not want to be married to because they because I'm
Jordan
scared of
Grace is
some of
one
them.
of them.
Some of them scare me, and I mean I mean, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying some of these women wrestlers are
He
that
said some
good
of them
where they could be scary.
scary.
I'm serious.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. 9 times out of 10, that's why a lot of the wrestlers stay within the business because they understand the schedule and understanding they're
Yeah.
not going to be able to be around and all that stuff. You got to think, for example,
Well, John
Buddy
Cena didn't
Matthews and
last
Rhea
with
Ripley.
Nikki.
Well, you got Buddy Murphy with Rhea Ripley. They're two different companies, but they make it work. They understand. You know what I mean? Look at what's the name? Look at Zelina Vega, just for example. Zelina Vega and Aleister Black. Aleister was in AEW for about a couple years. Then he got out of his
Hmm.
contract. He's right back in WWE.
Seth
Yeah.
So,
and Becky.
you know, Seth and back, there you go. You know what I mean? We can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
But you gotta understand they make it work. That's why it's hard for a lot of females or males to sit there and date people
Do
outside the business. Like it's
Hmm.
a whole that's a whole you gotta be patient. You gotta be understanding. You gotta understand like this is their life, this is what they love to do. This is not just a
Hmm.
job to them. Like this is their life.
This is their
95% of
life.
these wrestlers that you see or that ask right now, this is what they wanted to do. This is what they wanted to do when they were either a kid or close to a teenager. And every
Actually,
single
John
one will
Cena said
tell
he
you that.
never planned on wrestling from. He he didn't. He said he didn't want to do wrestling from the beginning. Actually, he just looked into it because he knew he couldn't compete at the top level in football. So one of his friends told him to transition to wrestling and stuff like that. So John didn't really start out
Look,
wanting to wrestle.
if you remember the beginning stages of this show, Tough Enough,
Yeah.
um,
yes.
Triple H was letting everybody know in that during that first session when he was there that if you're in a relationship, just break up with them now because
Wow.
it
Hmm.
because they're not gonna.
It's
A
not
lot
gonna
of them
last.
they're not gonna get it. They're not gonna get
You're not gonna get it.
get
Exactly.
yeah.
And
So and then fast forward to the what was it? It wasn't Tough Enough. I think it was where where the show that Bray Wyatt's wife started on. Remember she was it Total Divas?
Oh,
It wasn't
so the
Divas.
Divas, I think.
It
Yeah.
was Total Divas, but
Diva
No, it was
search.
something
Diva
else.
search.
yeah,
Diva
it was
search.
something where and remember she came in with a boyfriend and he had a problem with the time that she was putting into the to do because she wanted to wrestle at the time. And then he tried out, but he couldn't do it. He ended up leaving her because he gave her an ultimatum, and he told her it's either gonna be me or this,
Yeah.
and she
No, but
chose
I would
wrestling.
disagree with you guys that uh it's not successful because uh every wrestling was people dating within the business and getting married. John dated multiple wrestlers and he ended up
Well,
dating
but
getting
you got
but look, hold on. Let's go to you talking about John Cena.
yeah, John Cena.
Okay, so let's look at what Nikki Bella wanted. Nikki Bella wanted a family. She wanted kids. She
Yeah.
wanted
Yup.
exactly.
whatever. So
Yup.
we
She was
don't know what those other women wanted for it to not work.
Exactly.
But John Cena,
Exactly.
according to Nikki
Uh,
Bella, what she wanted, John could not give her. And John
exactly
decided. John even said, like, yeah, I would love to have kids, but for what? And because he's so invested into this.
into
He said
wrestling.
he said
right.
he wants a
Right.
dog. He said he wants a dog, but he can't even it wouldn't be fair to the dog because he wouldn't be able to take care of it.
And then
Absolutely.
also too, I think, and I could be wrong for saying it, I think some of these wrestlers actually like sign sort of somewhat of a contract where,
An
and
NDA.
there are certain clauses in the contract where they're, how should I put it? I can't say they can't have children, but they have to follow through the contract where, oh boy, how should I put it? They have to wait maybe to start a family or something like that. I'm just guessing now.
They
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
follow guidelines. But here's the
Becky. I
thing.
think Becky said something like that. Like she, she originally when she first started dating Seth, Vince told her she couldn't have children and stuff like that.
But here's
She
the
had to
funny
because
wait.
part
Vince
about it.
because Vince only saw money. So Vince saw her
Yep.
as a money maker, and he didn't
Yep.
want her to take the time off. I mean,
Uh-huh. That's what I'm talking about.
everything with Vince had to deal with money. That's why he never turned Cena heel, because he only cared about merchandise sales. He knew if
Hmm.
Cena turned heel, then the parents is not going to sit up there and buy the kids the little colorful T-shirts and all the John Cena stuff. So we're just
Hmm.
gonna make him the ultimate good guy, just so he could have the merchandise sale. That's why he leads in the Make a Wish thing and all that.
Yeah,
He completed so many
yeah.
more
But
than
but
other.
but but Man of the Hour. What makes me upset actually when you look at actually Roman as a heel sold more than John Cena as a babyface.
John Cena, I mean, Roman wasn't heel because as a good guy, let's remember he won the Royal Rumble and they booed him.
No, but when you look at
You ain't never
merchandise sales,
lied.
him and Cena were about even. It wasn't. There was
But I
barely any
don't know
difference.
about that. I don't
No,
know about.
I
I would
think
say John Cena had was getting more
yeah,
making.
I don't hear Roman Reigns' name up there as high as John Cena's name is
Me neither.
for the Make a Wish.
No, I'm not talking about Make a Wish. I'm talking about merchandise sales.
No,
Merchandise.
same thing with merchandise too. I don't
Same
think.
thing,
I
yeah.
don't think. I don't think. I don't think he's on the level with John Cena. John Cena is up there, man.
John Cena's merchandise is still selling like
Well, no,
crazy
no,
now,
no,
even
gentlemen. I'll
after.
be honest with you. You gotta kind of think that he is up there with Cena because remember, Cena was not wrestling for a few years, and they put a rocket to Roman Reigns back. Even
Right,
when I wasn't watching WWE, I knew
Mm.
Roman Reigns. I knew what Roman Reigns
but
was, and that was Vince's new superstar. His new superstar that was going to sit there and make him a shitload of money.
and that's my
So
point. John, that's
I
my
don't
point.
know.
That's my point, because like I said, Vince was only caring for the money. Like you said, John wasn't wrestling for a while. He had to find somebody else. He ended up putting it in
Right.
Roman. But then again, Roman was not liked by a lot of people. So they set up there and said, we're gonna have to make you heel, but we're gonna make you the top heel where people are still gonna love you, but you're gonna still get hate. Like just as
Mm.
much as Cena does. Because in Cena's case, he's the good guy at the time getting booed.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And they still
That was me
kept him,
booing the
and
shit
they
out of him.
kept
I
him,
was one
and
of
they
them.
kept him that way for so long. And now you see, if you look at the storyline now, what Cena talks about. Cena talks about it now, basically in
Yeah.
his promos
Yeah,
and saying,
yeah,
"Oh, I did this, and you guys still hated me," and all this other
yep,
stuff.
yep, yep. Sure
So,
did.
so he turned now, and now he's like giving you more reason to hate him. But and that's just for the women and kids that don't like him now.
Yeah,
Us
yeah,
real
Absolutely.
yeah. No,
wrestling guys.
and for me, when it comes to this is why I like Triple H. I think he's not he in a sense. This is where Triple H is different. He's trying to build multiple superstars instead of one. Vince was obsessed with building one guy to carry the company.
Right.
V- Triple
Hmm.
H
But
is Triple H is wants to build a company where it's carried by multiple people instead of one person and
look
stuff
where
like that.
look where Triple H comes from with it. Triple H views it as a fan as well. He's not just viewing it as a boss and a top executive and a decision maker. He looks at this as a fan would. He's still a fan of the business, of the show, of the sport,
Oh,
or
so
whatever.
he he's coming from both the money maker aspect as an executive, but as a fan too.
Yes,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he's
yeah.
basically
So he
like
understands what us fans want,
yes,
basically.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, say that. Listen, wait. Now, here's a question to you, Anthony. You've probably been watching more WWE wrestling than I have. I just got back into WWE once Triple H took over the reins and started doing the booking. I couldn't stand what Vince was doing from the time of, I would say, I cut it off once he bought ECW and WCW. I was watching Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling tapes. I refused because I didn't like how Vince booked shit. That was just me.
Mhm.
That's the issue with Tony
I was a
Khan.
product. Yeah, same thing with and listen, and I want to get back to that too because I do want to say Tony Khan is the victim of his own circumstance. You have a whole lot of talent over there at AEW, but you don't know how to put shit together, and you need to get some of the
No,
storyline and all that. You need to hand that over to somebody else to do because I think he is a victim. He's his own victim. He really is.
yeah,
You
no,
got
no,
talented. You got talented
and
people back there, but damn it.
Winters. Mark Henry does a show on Busted Open podcast with Bubba and
Yes.
Mark.
Yeah,
Mark.
I watch.
I forgot the guy's name. Their co-host,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
says that Tony has the same issue that Vince had later on in his career, where Tony doesn't have patience. He tears up. What's it called? Scripts the day
yeah,
of pay-per-views or day of shows, like Vince did later on in his career. But Tony's doing it
yeah.
now. Is that a bad way to do it?
I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah,
You can see the product.
it's very bad because just imagine you're coming into just imagine you're not even at the arena yet, and somebody's on the phone telling you this is what you're gonna do, and you're prepared
Uh-huh.
for that, and then as soon as you get to the arena, it's a totally different thing now, and
Right.
you just prepared yourself to do this.
Mhm.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it is kind of bad. Like I remember when I think it was Stone Cold said, you know, a writer once came up to him and said, Vince wants you to say this, and he ripped it up in his face and told him to take that back to Vince.
Yep.
Like
Mhm.
he's like, you don't come to me with a script. And there's a handful of guys you don't come to a script with. Him, The Rock, Ric Flair,
Triple H.
Shawn
the
Michaels.
Shawn
Shawn
Michaels, The
Michaels.
Yeah.
Undertaker. You don't run up on them with a script. And he said it kind of sucks because Vince will fire you, like the writers would get fired, and that's why one time Stone Cold said that, where's Vince's office? I'll go tell him myself, because he didn't want the person to get fired for not presenting the script or trying to get the athlete to actually do what was he was told to do. So Vince does have a history of firing writers because they couldn't get the wrestler to do what the script said. Do you guys remember the time when Roman announced the cancer,
Yeah. Yep.
and
I remember that.
oh man, and they wanted at the time Dean Ambrose to talk about the cancer,
Mhm.
and Dean Ambrose would refuse to say what Vince wanted him to say, and he wanted him to say, um, if the cancer don't kill you, I will.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I can understand where
Damn,
Dean
that's
is coming
crazy.
from. Him and Roman went through that developmental system together. He's not going to do that to his friend.
But it's not even just that they were feuding at the time, and it's just that, like, that was kind of insensitive because the man just announced he has cancer, and on the same
Mhm.
show you want to sit up here and you want to throw something out there like that, and Vince wanted him to say that, and you when you watch that promo, you could see how he hesitated. He did not want to say it, and he didn't, and that's why
Right.
Was that
he's.
before or after the gas mask thing?
Well, I don't remember the gas mask thing right
I
now,
don't
what
know
you're
about the
saying,
gas thing.
but all I know is he refused to do it, and he said he was willing to take any punishment that Vince, you know, threw at him, because he knew right then and there, because his contract was coming up. He knew that he was not going to sign back after that.
When I talk about the gas mask, is that was the time when he turned heel, when he was wearing that brown jacket, and Vince made him wear like one of those like wartime gas masks, like the thing that a firefighter wears
Mm-hmm.
to go into the
Respirator.
respirator mask and stuff like that. To coming
Probably,
out.
But all I know is they made him. He said he was willing to do everything and anything they wanted him to do, and he took a bunch of L's after that. He even lost to Nia Jax. They put him in a ring with Nia, and he didn't have no bitterness about it or whatever. Oh, you want me to lose to her? Let's do it. And he did it because he knew he was not coming back when his
Do you think
contract
with
actually
Triple
expired.
H back, do you think, and with Triple H in charge, do you think he tries to get out of his contract with Tony and come back to WWE, or his relationship with WWE is so ruined that he will never come back?
No, I think he would
The
come back. I don't think he'll try to get out of his contract. I think he'll just wait till the contract expires, just like Aleister Black did. Aleister
No,
Black,
he just signed a massive extension with them. I think he has an opt
well
out
then,
you talking about
clause
you
after
talking
2
about the guy
years.
that played Dean Ambrose, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, if
because
he
his
Yeah,
character,
if
Moxley.
he
So,
just
right,
if
right,
he
because
just
see
so
signed,
his character,
Moxley is
look,
banned. Wait. Let's rewind this. Moxley is banned from WWE. That's a fact. Dean Ambrose is never going back to WWE. That is never
Wait,
the way they
no,
that was
ended
his,
no.
their
Triple H
relationship
said
was
he's
not
gonna
good.
that's
Triple
what
H said he's gonna allow Dean to come back.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
We'll
Like
see.
that's why I
I
said
don't
that's
know,
why I said about the contract. But if you're telling me he just signed a new contract, then of course he's not going to come back. I mean, if you had
but
if
but
you had intention to go back to the WWE, you would not have signed this massive contract
No,
that
but
you said you signed.
but look at, and also Anthony, you gotta look at the script that Moxley is doing right now with AEW, man. I mean, he has right now his script is he's doing good with his script. He has
But see, that's the
Because he's
thing.
got creative control. He
Well,
has
they put
creative
they yeah
control.
they look
That's
at it. They
why.
put the belt, they put the title on him and everything like that, and he's the champ right now. So who knows
Right.
how much longer
yeah,
he's going
yeah,
to
no,
have it.
and this is what I hate about Tony too. You give creative control. You give way too much creative control to these wrestlers who don't know how to book the booking side of things. And this is what's happening. Like he wants to be friends with these guys instead of being a boss and stuff like that. Am I
Well,
being too harsh on Tony?
not exactly, because I'm gonna be honest with you. He has shown is one of his biggest female stars. You haven't seen Britt Baker since October of last year. And she was a day one person. She's one of the day ones. She's been there one of the very first pay-per-view, if I'm correct. She was there. So she's been shown because of controversy of her things doing things in the back. Scorpio Sky, the very first African American champion in AEW. He's been shown due to
Yep.
controversy and rubbing people wrong in the back. See, Anthony, I get what you're saying, but you gotta know all, not some. See, when you follow certain things, you gotta dig and you gotta really, really look before responding on certain things. We all have a right to our opinion, but you gotta know what you're saying and know what you're talking about
Oh,
sometimes
no.
before
Well,
saying
what
that,
I'm saying
saying
is,
what
I'm not
you're
talking
saying.
about the mid-level guys. I'm talking about he gives way too much creative control to the top guys in the company who don't know. I can understand giving it to Edge because he's been in the business for like almost 30 years, him and Christian, but guys like Moxley's barely been in the business for 20 years. Let's
That
be
you
honest.
know of.
That's a
I
long
mean,
time, bro. That's
mhm.
a long time, man. Like that ain't no 6 in
that's
the
a
park,
long
bro.
time.
You gotta think. You
No,
gotta
but you
think.
understand what I'm saying. You can't give guys like this who don't. I'm a big Moxley fan, but a guy
But
like that shouldn't be writing
but you
his own scripts
but
and
okay,
stuff
but
like
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you a reason why. Look where he came from.
Mhm.
Mm,
He
that.
came from
mm.
the
WWE.
W. He came from
He came
WWE.
from the
So
WWE,
WWE.
they're
right?
gonna try
As a
to
shield.
they're gonna give him that.
Hmm.
Look at Mercedes Monet. Why is she
There you
carrying like
go.
all
That's
these?
another.
The,
Why is she carrying
the,
all these titles and whatever? Why is he giving her that much
What's
leeway
her
to
name
just sit up
again?
here and bring
Mercedes
Sasha
Monet.
Banks.
Mercedes
Sasha.
Monet.
Sasha
And
Banks.
to have
Uh,
these
That's
deals?
Sasha
that's
Banks. And you got
Snoop
Yeah,
Dogg
I,
cousin.
uh,
yes, I get it.
That's
They
Snoop
have
Dogg cousin.
I get it. They
yeah.
have
okay.
deals. Look, I get it. They have deals with each other and all that other stuff. But to sit up there and every week, and she just recently lost one of those titles, and we don't
Right.
know if they're going to put another one on her because she's about to get into it with Tony Storm sometime down the line.
Hmm.
So we don't know if she's going to
Well,
still
you
have
know,
all those. Is she
you
still going
they
to have
setting it
all?
up. You see,
And the thing is, they're making her look at it. Look, her beef with the WWE, because when that went public and how she left and everything like that, of course they're gonna sit up there and allow her to do that. They're gonna make her the biggest top female that they can, despite, like you brought up, Britt Baker. Like, why isn't Britt Baker out here getting that type of treatment? You know what I'm saying? But you give it to
Well, you
somebody
know
that
why?
came.
Can you explain
It's
to
a
me the
lot
Young
of
Bucks
rumors.
though?
You
I
give
have a
it.
question. I know they're
You give it
the
to somebody that came from another company that's supposed to be the flagship show. So anytime you come from anywhere like that, they put a title on you. Look, I mean, Edge comes over and he's in title matches.
Yeah.
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 No, I'm gonna bring up those three, those guys are the exception. I'm gonna bring up the Young Bucks. They shouldn't have creative control. I know they founded the
What?
company.
What? What? What?
Why shouldn't
What?
they?
They don't. They shouldn't have
Why
what?
They're your
What? Can,
EVPs.
wait, wait, wait. Can I wait, wait? Can I get the wait,
young,
wait, wait,
the
wait, wait,
young,
wait, wait, wait? Can I get the floor? Can I get the floor? Wait, wait. Can I get the floor? Can I get the floor, please? Can I get the floor? So you're
They have
telling
way
me,
too much power.
questionably, wait. Give me the floor. Give me the floor. So you're telling me that I am the EVP of my fucking company, and you're telling me I should not have creative control of all the dues I paid in this business, and arguably being one of the best tag teams that's ever done it, and learn from Chris Canyon, another big man that's not mentioned in professional wrestling, that was innovative with all the moves that are going on today. He was the one that was innovating a lot of the shit in WCW before he even reached WWE or any other federation. But you're telling me that I don't have creative control and I'm the EVP of the company? Anthony, what the fuck, man?
No.
Really?
But I'm gonna respond to you, Dolphin winners. I understand what you're saying, but there has to be a point where you can't be giving too much power to a corporate guy. Their front office personnel and their competitive wrestlers choose one or the other. This is why CM Punk had issues with them. CM Punk actually
CM
admitted
Punk
this.
has issues. CM Punk has issues. CM
yeah,
Punk, I'm gonna
yeah.
tell you this. I've been watching CM Punk. I've been watching CM Punk for a very long time. Ring of
Same
Honor
here.
all the way
Same
through.
here.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. This is my feelings on CM Punk. CM Punk is a great worker. I like how he works or whatever, but it seems like he wants to have his ball and eat it. He wants to have his ball and take it home all the
Yeah.
fucking time. And
Hey,
I'm
by the way,
sorry.
CM
I
Punk.
am sorry. I'm just not. I'm just not. I'm over. Listen, I'm over the hype of
Hey,
CM Punk. I really am. I've been over the hype. He disappointed me when he came to AEW and was sitting there thinking that he was Mr. Well, I'm the man. You gave me this money. I'm gonna be this dude, and things gonna be my fucking way. And fuck no. Fuck you. Fuck
hey,
you. You have different
hey,
personalities in that locker room. If you want to be a leader, be a leader. Don't be a fucking on some fascist or some. I want to sit there and you know you got to go through me first, right? That's the type of person that CM Punk is. Fuck CM Punk.
hey,
Like
by
real
the way,
shit.
No,
CM Punk.
but Dolphin winners, you
Hold on,
have to
real quick.
admit.
CM Punk is the Aaron Rodgers of wrestling.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Damn.
that,
Thank you
No,
very
but
well
that's a
but
good
said.
way of saying that, Shake. That was a
winners,
good
Yeah.
way of
winners.
saying that.
Where I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not a huge Punk fan, but you have to admit it was unprofessional of them to go into his locker room and start a fight with Punk.
So here's
I
the
know they're
thing,
the
Anthony.
EVPs of the
That's
company,
rewind. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate back to you. You don't know. We will never know what happened. We will never know what happened that led up to that incident. See, you gotta understand. If you gonna sit there and give, you gotta be able to take too, and that's in life. So you don't know what type of bullshit he was throwing. You don't know what type of shit he was throwing. See, that's the thing. Everybody just knows the side of the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and them fighting him in this fucking locker room. See, nobody don't know what led up to that bullshit. See, you gotta look. It's always two sides of the story. Always. So you can't sit there and just say, "Well, you know what? This is what's
no,
been reported." And
and Punk is not the
we
only one that
we
complained
will
about the
never know what
immaturity.
happened.
But Dolphin winners, Cody even said the Young Bucks and Omega were very immature and stuff like that. That's why he left.
He
He
knew this.
couldn't handle
But
that
here's the thing.
immaturity.
You knew. But you knew this But you knew this when you was touring with him in fucking Japan. That's not an excuse. I'm not trying to hear that, Anthony. When you was Bullet Club with these motherfuckers in New Japan back in the early 2000s, you knew this shit. So let's stop that. Fucking
Yeah.
stop it. I don't want to hear that bullshit. And let's think
So you
about all
don't
the
think
bullshit.
Cody's
Bad
BSing
fucking,
with him?
wait. We're not going to talk about all the bullshit bad fucking booking Cody did when Cody was fucking part owner of fucking AEW before he fucking left.
Yeah.
Let's just stop this
There
right
you
the
go.
fuck now. So
Yeah.
we're going to call the kettle black. We're going to call it all the way the fuck through. So you're not going to keep bashing and picking and depicting. Let's do the whole thing, not half of it. So at the end of the day, everybody got shit with each other. You got to look at it like that, Anthony, at the end of the day. But my whole thing is your argument and playing devil's advocate, yeah, you're going to have people that shit's going to rub them the wrong way. That's just how the business is. There's nothing perfect about the wrestling business at
Yeah.
all.
Hey, the other
Business
thing
is
you have to
business.
look at, Dolphins winner, if you think about it, right? It didn't work with WWE the first time. It didn't pan out because they had a falling out. Then he goes to AEW and it doesn't work out. Even UFC, when he was at UFC, it didn't work out. So it very well could be something that he's bringing to the table that's causing the problem, or it could be something else. We don't know. We will never really know what the issue is, but the facts are it hasn't worked out wherever he goes, to be 100% honest.
Thank you. Thank you. Ali, thank you for saying that. Thank
So
you.
you think it's more an issue
I
with Punk
appreciate
than
everything you
everybody
said.
around him?
Yes. Fuck yes.
It's just
Fuck
like,
yes. You can see it, dude. You can fucking see it. You
yeah,
can fucking see it. It's definitely a Punk issue. It's not a wrestling issue. It's a Punk issue.
Exactly.
Seriously, I'll call
whoever
that shit out.
just said Aaron Rodgers of wrestling, 100%. Because that's
Right,
all
that
he
was fake
is. He
money.
brings chaos, and it's not. He's a narcissist at the same time. It's not my fault. It's your fault, right? That's exactly the type of mentality he has. So we'll never know. We'll never know whose fault it really was. But the facts are, wherever he's gone, it hasn't worked out. Those are the facts.
Yeah.
Do you think it's
Yeah.
not going to work out this time with WWE, and he's going to cause issues with Triple H? Or
I'm
no?
going to tell you right now.
No, he ran back. Wait. He ran back when shit was going array with AEW. He ran backstage when Vince was still owner of fucking WWE, and he went backstage to try to talk to Triple H. They kicked his ass out. Then he called Triple H on Thanksgiving Day to have a whole conversation so his ass could be in Chicago when he knew they was going to be in Chicago and sit there and be signed back to the WWE. He knew what the fuck he was doing. You know exactly what the fuck he was doing. Ain't nobody fucking dude. If you are very intelligent, I'm a chess player. Listen, that man was playing chess, and he just sat there and waited to sit there and play the pieces where they were gonna fall, and he knew how to play the game, and he's been playing the game. So I'm not trying to hear it. CM Punk as a professional. I mean, listen, CM Punk as a wrestler, he's really one of the best who's done it. I've seen CM Punk wrestle at the Armory. I've seen Brian Danielson wrestle at the Armory. I've seen, Tyler Black and those guys wrestle in Philadelphia. So I've seen these guys before they even got to WWE to be the big superstars that they are. But when your ego is bigger than the fucking business, I don't got no time for none of that shit. As a fan, I don't got no time for somebody's fucking ego. I don't give a fuck
But
who
I
you
thought
are.
you said I thought we've always said to be in that type of business, you do have to have an ego, right?
To a point, but he's got a whole his shit is ballooned, bro. His shit is on a whole nother level.
And Shake said it best. He's the Aaron Rodgers of wrestling, and that's what he is.
And you know, just like Aaron Rodgers being maybe a different version of himself, like not even half as good as what he used to be. That's kind of where CM is. Watch his last couple of pay-per-view events. They haven't been that spectacular. I would say they're even overhyped when you actually watch what was put on film. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and Triple H actually said he brought CM Punk. He actually brought CM Punk, not more. Triple H did an interview recently where he said he signed CM Punk more to train the next generation to be not do the same mistakes he did, but he's gonna be a trainer full time eventually at the Performance Center and stuff like that.
That
And
depends.
then remember, Anthony, also, you gotta remember this. Collision was created for CM Punk. You had a whole show. You had a billionaire say, "Hey, listen, I got a new show idea. I need you to be front and center around the whole thing." He gave him a fucking show, and shit still didn't work out.
Yeah.
And winners, I have a question. Who do you, when it comes to the Jungle Boy incident, who do you blame? Would you blame Punk or Jungle Boy for that incident?
Both parties. Because basically, as professionals and as grown men, y'all should have hashed that shit out, and it should have never been an incident in the first place.
Yeah. No,
Seriously.
no,
So I think both men as professionals. No, seriously, I think both men as professionals, because you got to understand, these men and women, no matter how crazy you are or wild you are, there is a time for you to be professional, and that should have been the time for you to be professional. See, there's a thin line between kayfabe and reality. If y'all got true beef with each other, listen, we're gonna keep this shit professional, but I really don't fuck with you. Keep it as just as that. But at the end of the day, doing that shit, that was unprofessional of both parties. Because Jungle Boy took a shot at CM Punk when he had that hardcore match, and he sat there and put somebody through real glass, and that's when CM Punk had that incident with him behind the gorilla position.
Yeah, yeah,
and
if you actually read the reports, read the reports during the event, Tony and multiple people backstage told Jungle Boy not to do it, yet he did it. No, Punk told multiple people, and Punk told him not to do it, and he still did it. Then he had the nerve to antagonize Punk, saying, "What do you want to do?" and stuff like that. Like,
exactly. And my whole thing is, as professionals, like I said, when behind that camera, you are representing my company, meaning that you are representing New Japan, All Elite Wrestling, World Wrestling Entertainment. We can go down a list. You should be a professional. As long as you are under my umbrella, I need you to be professional. Which we always forget that these men and women are fucking human beings. These men and women have done things outside of wrestling which will never be erased. You know what I mean? So they are human. Your favorite wrestler might be, oh my God, yo, this is the best wrestler alive in this ring, or she might be the best wrestler alive outside of the ring, and then she might have fucked around and ran somebody to fuck over, or worse. Yeah. And then it's like, holy shit, yeah, you forgot this person is a human fucking being. So I still believe that both parties are at fault. I blame Tony Khan, so I think Tony Khan should have squashed that shit beforehand. He should have sat there and had a plan in place. So if both of them started fucking up, I would have suspended them and took them off the show for a week to 2 weeks, and found a way to write a storyline around both of them until they got their shit together. See, there's ways and levels to this shit that you need to sit there and take care of before it ever got to that level. And Tony Khan, as a owner, should have never let it get to that level.
No, and this is why I'm saying that's the issue with Tony. He like, in general, there's rare cases where he becomes a boss, but in general, he's an owner trying to play with action figures, and he wants to be friends with these guys instead of being their boss. And so, when you look at, there's rare cases like a Britt Baker or someone like that, where he puts them on the shelf for controversies. But in general, there was actual reports from even a Chris Jarrett, like multiple people who work for the company, saying that Tony doesn't really discipline these guys. He's like, there's anarchy in backstage all the time. Like, the wrestlers don't listen to him because he lets them do whatever they want. And
to a point, because I'm this, no, that's to a point, because he's not going to let you do whatever he wants, because he's going to be like, look, I got a business to run, and I will fine your ass and or suspend your ass, and you will sit there and listen to me. When you don't get that certain paycheck every 2 weeks, and your fucking bank account's like, oh, fuck, then you will start to listen. So, yeah, eventually he is the know-all, be-all. He has the final say. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. When people, that's what when the punishment come, these people do, like, that's what, like, JR says in his podcast. He's one of the people that Tony respects, and JR even says this in his podcast. When the punishments come, the wrestlers don't take it seriously. They just throw the fine away. They don't pay it, and so. So that's what I'm saying. Tony wants to
And
be
by the
friends
way,
with these kids.
where can you get that JR podcast?
It was one of like his older ones. I can't remember which one it was.
Is it on YouTube or like one of
Yeah,
the?
It's on like
YouTube.
Apple.
But you
Like
can
the
look it up
Apple.
on YouTube though.
Yeah, but
Yeah, you can.
that's what I'm saying, winners. When you want to be friends with these kids and they don't take your punishment seriously, that's the issue. Like Tony wants to be friends with
Well,
some of these wrestlers.
I'll say this to you. You can go on YouTube today and look up Maven. Maven used to be an ex WWE wrestler, and he was
He was
backstage
the
at the
first.
AEW
He was the
event.
first one of the winner, right? He was the first Tough Enough winner, Maven.
Yes,
Right?
correct. Yes. So you can go look him up. He actually has a backstage segment with Tony Khan and actually talks to Tony Khan. So you can look that up. Um, I'm like this. We haven't heard any controversy lately. Things seem like things are going smoothly now. I'm like this. I when you talk about Moxley and having his way, you got to understand these men and women not only paved their way in WWE, they went through the indies like all the other folks have. Now, some got through other ways than others, but a lot of these cats, like your John Moxleys, like your Matt Cardonas, for a prime example, King of the Indies, he's killing it. He's saying he's making more money on the Indies than he is when he was with WWE when he was Zack Ryder. So you got guys and females that go on the indie circuit and tear it up on the indie circuit, even though they might not be doing their thing in AEW or WWE. Don't discredit them because they might not have this, that, this, or not this, that, this. Like I keep telling people, Tozawa, like they make him look like a clown in WWE. Tozawa is an assassin. Tozawa would break down a lot of those professional wrestlers if it was like a strong style. And I'm going to tell you something. You got to look into some of these guys and females past videos and stuff like that. So some of these men and women actually wrestle a whole lot different than they do that you see right now.
I forgot the guy's name. He was one of the smaller cruiserweights that left and went back to New Japan. I forgot his name. He was
Taka
in NXT
Michinoku.
for, huh? No, not Taka.
It's a Taka. Well,
It's a more recent guy, actually.
Kushida.
No, not Kushida. I forgot his name. He's part of Suzuki Gun and stuff like that.
Oh, you talking? Oh, what the fuck is his name? I know exactly who you're talking about. I see him, but I just don't know his fucking name.
He was the originator of the GTS.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. Oh God, what is his name? It's just gonna bug the fuck out of me.
Yeah, no, but he actually said
Oh man,
he wrestled Tozawa in New Japan, and he actually never wanted to wrestle Tozawa ever again in New Japan because how tough Tozawa was and stuff like that. He hated wrestling Tozawa.
Right. That's why I tell a lot of people: look up Tozawa, look up Nakamura, look up Asuka, look up Io, look up Kyrie, look up all the like they had runs in Japan and Mexico and stuff like that, and you be like, holy shit! Like, yeah, they've had holy shit moments. Like Io as a champion, I'm happy Io is the champ. Io definitely deserves it because Io literally is a Grand Slam champ now. She's won championships not only in Stardom but in New Japan and now WWE. And I'm like, wow, like people gotta understand, like they were champions before they got
she was a champion.
WWE.
No, she's actually a Quint champion. She won the women's champion in Joshi Pro. Also,
Nice. I forgot about Joshi Pro. Yep, I forgot about that. So yeah,
no, and Stephanie Vaquer actually said, she actually wants to be the person. She did an interview too, and just in Spanish. If you guys understand Spanish, she actually says that she wants to be one of the people that opens up the NXT training center in Mexico when they do open up one there to train the next generation of luchadors, like people like teenagers and stuff like that.
that woman right there, man. Whew. Mm. I watched her in Japan.
Stephanie
That was the
Vaquer is
first time I
real.
seen her. The Yo,
I
my
like
God,
Julia Butler.
yo,
I don't
Woo.
know what it is. I
You
prefer
got
Julia
I
for some
like
reason.
Stephanie Vaquer
Julie a
too.
beast. I love Japanese rock girl, but Julia is a beast too. Like they're both beasts. Like
You talking about
look up Julia New Japan. Look up Julia, the one that just won she just won to enter the Money in the Bank in a
you
couple
talking about
weeks. So and that was
you
her
talking about
that was her debut match
WWE?
in SmackDown. Yes.
What you
She
talking about
just so she
WWE?
went from NXT.
Uh,
Yes, she went from NXT. Now she's up on the SmackDown roster, and she just won. She got booked for
oh
what
yeah,
she
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
won
yeah. I know what
this
you're talking
past
about.
Friday
Yeah,
night.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. She
yeah,
spent
like
a lot
she's a
of her
beast.
time in Japan. Yeah, don't let her look fool
Apparently
you.
Dude, she
WWE
was.
Not
want.
let her looks fool you.
According to like
Mhm.
rumors, I'm seeing that WWE wants to permanently sign Vikingo to a contract. Like the contracts that they want to pick up and bring into NXT are Vikingo, uh,
Oh yeah,
Fla-
yeah. That's official. That's official. There's no rumor. That's official. Velvet Kingo got signed. Three others
Flammer.
got signed. They're actually going to be having their pay per view. Yeah, they're going to be having their pay per view actually in a couple weeks. I think June 7th is that's when the
Do
world
you think they're?
collides, and
Do you
Yeah,
the
believe the
pay
World
per
rumors
views
that
in
they're
Collide.
one
going to
day.
change the name AAA to like NXT Mexico, or do you think that's BS?
Well, they got ownership of it, so you know they can do whatever they want. You know that's what they're rumored to saying that they're going to do. All I say is this, and this is all I say. I don't want them to buy it, and then there's a whole bunch of wrestlers that are not going to be used. Don't switch it up to the point because this is the culture. When it comes to Mexican wrestling, when it comes to Japanese wrestling, it's a culture that goes along with it. So
yeah,
respect the culture. 'Cause corporate
exactly.
always takes over the
You have
culture, and that's
you have
the problem.
the king of
Respect
Lucha
the
Libre on
culture.
your roster.
Respect the culture and the history of the culture
You
because just like with the Samoans,
absolutely.
their culture goes way back. And I like the, I wouldn't want to see the culture change with the Samoans with the Japanese and the Mexican culture because they're unique in their own way. So I like
Yeah,
for them,
no. I think
Which
Triple H, if Vince did this deal, he would have changed it completely. I don't think Triple H respects the culture. I don't think Vince really respects Lucha Libre that much in general. Because look
mm,
at what he's done with the luchadors that he signed. He basically makes them either into a clown act or he doesn't really take them seriously and stuff like
he
that.
never
So
took small guy. He never took small guys seriously. You know, Vince was always he always like the big,
was
muscular,
Ray and Eddie
monster type
rare
yeah,
guy.
cases? You think?
because think about Vince McMahon. If you go back a little bit, a few years back, think about the people that he called his personal choice. One of them was what's the guy's name? Because he's wrestling today. The guy from Scotland. Um,
Shane,
Drew
who you talking about?
McIntyre.
No, that's not Shane.
hmm?
Repeat.
Drew
What did
McIntyre.
you say?
Drew
I didn't hear you.
McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre, right? That was one of his chosen choice. And then also
Randy Orton,
No, not Randy Orton. Randy Orton one that's chosen choice. Uh,
Cena.
oh, go ahead. No, y'all go ahead. I think of the other person because there was a couple of them that
Oh,
he.
no, winners. What I was. You think Ray and Eddie forced 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 Vince's hand to make them champions because of their
Not really.
popularity?
I think it know what it was. I thought to say pop. I say crowd reaction. I think after a while, because one thing I'm gonna tell you, one thing about Vince is this: Vince was notorious for doing a certain thing where if he liked you and he wanted to keep pushing you, he'll push you. But then if you did one little thing, he'd stop your whole. It just halt your whole shit. If it was something he didn't like about you, for example, Bray Wyatt, you made Bray Wyatt lose to Goldberg in Saudi, which was one of the most despicable things I've ever seen in professional wrestling. Why would you
Mm,
do that? Like Bray Wyatt was your number one seller. He was your number one seller, and just because the fact that he wouldn't lose weight, he wouldn't do things the way you want him to do, you made him lose to Goldberg at his height at the height of the storyline? Really? You just killed. You just tried to kill this old man's
Vince
team after
Vince
that.
was anal retentive when it came to that. You think?
He's always like that. He was always like that. If you didn't do certain things Vince liked, and you went against the grain with Vince, he'd give you an inch, and then after a while, he's like, okay, I'm gonna pull the plug. What was you gonna say?
Y'all
Yeah.
remember what Vince did when he suspended what's the dude? Oh fuck, I got his man. The dude that went stumbling under the ring at the Royal Rumble when he was running to the ring.
Oh,
Titus.
Jinder.
No, Titus
Oh,
O'Neil.
that was funny.
Oh,
Titus
yeah.
O'Neil, that was hilarious.
It was a time when something happened. Vince was out there with all the wrestlers and all that, and Titus just simply, doing regular shit, and they congratulating Vince or whatever, and he puts his hands on Vince's shoulder, and Vince didn't like that,
Ooh,
and Titus is
not at
suspended.
all.
Titus was suspended,
Yep.
and I'm like, really, just for that? Like, I could see if he slapped the shit out of you or
Yeah.
something out there or whatever,
No,
but
don't touch me.
yeah,
You
don't
you,
touch
you
me.
know
I'm your
it's
fucking
crazy.
dog. Don't touch me.
I just found this out recently. It's crazy. It's been 5 years since Shad died.
So who?
Shad
Yeah,
Who
Shad
died?
from Crime Time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Prime
It's
time.
been that. I thought it's only been. I thought it was shorter than that. I thought he died a little.
5 years.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's been that long. To be honest.
Well, we just at the beginning of the show, we paid tribute to Owen Hart. Yesterday was 26 years to the unfortunate incident that he passed away from the
Wow, it's been that long,
accident
26 years.
playing on Blue Blazers. 26 years.
Yeah. Passed
How
away.
long has
Wow.
it been since the
Dropping
Damn,
down.
I didn't know it was
Brody incident
99.
in Puerto
Wow.
Rico?
Yeah, because he had
Oh, that
the
was in
same
the 80s.
he had the same gig like Sting. He used to drop down from the ceiling, but unfortunately it was a malfunction then. Yeah.
Do you believe the conspiracies that Vince purposely cut that, or do you think it's just people that hate Vince that are saying that conspiracy that he purposely sabotaged Owens that specific thing?
I think
I think
this is
that
how it's a sticky situation. But my whole thing
yeah.
is we knew the relationship that Brett and Vince had. You got to think about it. This man punched the fuck out of you, knocked you on your ass after you screwed him in your hometown in the locker room. He didn't wait. First he hog spit on you in public. Then he punched you in your mouth in the locker room when you tried to walk on him. Because then you was in the same locker room with Sean, and he said, "You sure you didn't know nothing about this?" And Sean said, "I swear to God on my life." You can hear Shawn Michaels saying in the video, and then you can see Vince stumbling back down the hall because that's when that's when Bret Hart punched him in the eye, and they had to cover up his black eye because he had a black eye for a couple of days because that's where he got it from, screwing Bret. I wouldn't be surprised, bro. I would. I'm be honest with you. You would think
Vince
when
is
you
that
are a
petty
billionaire
that he
and
would
things
kill
like
his own
that,
talent?
No,
listen,
the
man. I'm
thing
gonna say this. This is what I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna say this. We'll never know exactly what happened. My eyes, personally, just me being personal, and my personal feelings. I don't think it was an accident.
You think it
well
was
I don't.
intentional?
Dolphin Winter, that's why I mentioned maybe a week last time we had the thing. This this may be slightly different, but I think the situation with Eddie Guerrero's death is I think that was covered as well. I can't go into details, but I think something that the
Yeah.
situation with Eddie Guerrero is not what we think it was.
Well, you know what's sad? I think with Eddie,
Yeah,
and this is
that's
what we just
insane.
know. I think Eddie was battling demons, bro. And you gotta think about this. And
It
like we
is
said,
sad.
earlier in
Right.
this program,
He was
it's
dealing with
sad.
alcohol
But
problems.
think about it. But
No,
you got
but
to understand, gentlemen, the pain that these men and women are going through on an everyday basis, falling onto a mat that's only plywood. It's plywood underneath that tarp. That is it. That is
Yeah.
no cushion. It's plywood. It's with springs on the bottom. Springs on the bottom. Then you got the ply. No, it's not many springs. It's only a couple. Then you got the plywood on top. You got the floor poles. You got the ropes, and everything else. Turnbuckle, the whole nine. That
Yep.
shit hurts. And when you hurt, your body gets calloused to a point. But after a while, your back, your leg, your neck, your arms, your everything hurts. And eventually, they're trying to find somebody to escape the pain that they are going through.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that Eddie couldn't succumb to those demons because it was the same thing with Brian Pillman. He got the neck injury. He was
Yeah.
never.
Yeah.
Brian Pillman was one of my favorite wrestlers. I think Brian Pillman
Same
was like
here.
one of my top 10 wrestlers.
He's underrated, to
Brian
be
Pillman.
honest.
Brian Pillman
Yeah.
broke his neck.
I
Brian
agree
Pillman is
with
so
that.
underrated. We talking
I
about
agree with that.
cruiserweights, Anthony. It's funny that you mentioned cruiserweights. That whole cruiserweight division was built off of the Brian Pillmans. Then you had your Ultimo Dragons that came over from Japan. Then you got introduced to all these other. Then that's when you got your Rey Mysterio. Because when I learned about Rey Mysterio, it was from WCW. So like that man, it was him. And rewind back, him with Stunning Steve Austin. They were one of the top tag teams in the nation
Yeah,
as
I
the
remember.
Hollywood Blondes.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, and it's weird with Ray. My favorite point of his career was when he was partnering up with Conan in WCW when he
Oh
didn't have his
yeah,
mask
Yeah, I
on.
remember Conan. Yeah.
But
when you got the mask by Kevin Nash.
yeah,
When you
no,
got the mask by
but
Kevin Nash.
Ray said it
Yeah.
was so weird not having his mask on, and like Ray said that like, are you shocked that he would say something like that? That it felt so weird wrestling without his mask on.
Well, you got to
Yeah, I
think he
mean,
started his career with his
he's
mask.
been wrestling with it
He
all
started
his
his career
career,
with his
so
mask.
it's going to be different
Yeah.
without it.
And then you look. Yeah. My bad.
Honestly, my favorite. I like Ray, but my favorite guy of all time was Psychosis.
Oh, he could get down. Psychosis gets.
Oh
Oh
no, my
wait, La Parca,
Hoovy, the
Psychosis.
Juice. I like
Oh,
Hoovy, the
Hoovy
Juice.
too. You got all that whole luchador and Mexican invasion that came through like the early to mid '90s, and then so on and so forth. Yo, you had some performance. You had some real good
Yeah.
performance, man.
Goodness.
And like I said, that's when you're cruiserweight with WCW. That's how we got to know these guys and these women. You know, so it
Why
wasn't
is
the
it that
fact
they
that they had a
said
good relationship
Eric?
with men.
This is where I don't get the the rumors that Eric hated the cruiserweights. Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, there was rumors that he didn't really like the cruiserweight division. Really,
I can't tell you. I can't say nothing on that because I'm not. I don't know. I can't say anything about that.
Dolphin. Where do
Man
you
of the
think?
hour, you want to take? No, no, I'm gonna let man of the hour take that one. I'm gonna let him speak on that because I never heard that. If I'm correct, that
Same here.
he was the one that got a great relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, which they had a lot of the cruiserweights over in New Japan that started coming on WCW television, and that's how we learned and got a cruiserweight division. So I don't know how that was the case.
Oh no, that's what I'm confused. What you guys are saying contradicts what what other people who work for WCW said that Eric really didn't like. He brought them, but he didn't give them enough time on the TV. Is what they're saying.
Well, look what Eric was doing. Eric was in it for the TV ratings and just to try to beat out the WWE. So, of course, him and Ted Turner had their little relationship with each other. We're just gonna sign all the former WWE guys, and we're just gonna go from there. And that was taken away from a lot of people to do TV, like Rey Mysterio and all them was getting pushed down to the bottom. That's one of the reasons why those guys like Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, Eddie, and all
Chris
them.
Jericho.
Perry Saturn.
But I'm saying
Mhm.
Perry Saturn when they all jumped ship together, and they all went to the WWE because they wasn't getting no exposure over there, and WWE was like, okay, they're taking our old guys. We'll sit up there and take the guys they're not using like that, and we'll just put them in, at least higher than where they was on their roster, mid level, and we'll let them work their way up to the top. You got guys getting in the ring with The Rock and Triple H and Stone Cold and stuff like that, just to give them a little more exposure, because that's what WWE was doing, just so they could get back to the top. But I never heard what you said. I'm just speculating that that's what it was.
Yeah, and you brought up Perry Saturn. That's another guy that people like talk about when it comes to being a tough guy in the business, because before he became a pro wrestler, he was a former Green Beret.
Yeah, he was in the service.
And they made him a joke in the
So far, he
WWE.
was in service.
Exactly.
And they made him a joke.
But here's the funniest part: even the fact that they made him a joke, he was still getting over being a joke.
Yeah.
If he would have played, and then he said it in the shoot interview. It's the shoot interview. I forgot exactly what it is, but you can look up Perry Saturn shoot interviews. He said if he would have known now what he knew back then, he would have made a shitload of money off of doing the Moppy fucking angle. It was a punishment by him hurting the guy and going off script. They made him sit there and do this whole angle with Moppy. And he didn't realize this shit was going over. He said he hated it, but then he realized, he said it was getting over, and he didn't realize it.
Yeah, they were making him the new Al Snow.
And you know what? I'm gonna mention this. I didn't really like the way Ron Simmons' script sort of ended in wrestling, because he was walking. He'll come to the ring and just say that one word, and that was it. I didn't like the way that his career kind of came to an end.
Have you guys seen Devon do the interview with Undertaker, where he tells the story about him going to ECW, and he how Johnny Rods told them that he could blow people up? And I'm not sure if that was true, what he said, that back then, even if you didn't say it and someone who was training you said that, people would try to test you and stuff like that. Is that true, Winners?
Right.
What Devon was saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You're gonna have people that's gonna try you.
Yeah, no, but
You're
he
gonna
was
have
the
guys.
only person to blow
You're
up.
gonna have guys in the ring. I don't know. I don't. I'm be honest. That I don't know. I can't. I cannot
No,
confirm
but
that. I can't confirm or deny.
no, but I know you're a fan, but do you think half of the stuff these wrestlers is an exaggeration when it comes to that type of stuff? Or
What kind of
Well, no. This is what I'll say to you. This is what I'll say to you from what my trainer told me. Well, my trainer, Captain Rick, told me years ago. You're gonna have guys that's gonna work firm. You're gonna have guys that's gonna work stiff. And even if you have to work with a female, you're gonna have females that's gonna work firm. You're gonna have females that's gonna work stiff. It's just how people work in the ring. If you are working with a veteran and you let the veteran take the lead. Wrestling is like dancing. Wrestling is choreographed. Wrestling is predetermined. They go through those 20-minute matches are an average of 150 moves plus, meaning that they gotta know armbar against the ropes, against the turnbuckle, this, that, tag, outside the ropes, inside the ropes. Oh, play to the crowd. You gotta remember all of that. So you got certain wrestlers, and you just got certain wrestlers that work with each other so much in the indies, they just know each other like the back of their hand. They're like, oh, we can walk down to the ring. You want to do this. Okay, cool. And and it comes out to the finished product that we see. So that can go either way. But you're gonna have assholes. You're gonna have assholes, Anthony. They're gonna try to do that just to feel like, oh, I'm the biggest, baddest. And then when they realize they met their match, then they're like, oh shit, like this dude ain't, Because remember, I'm gonna tell everybody the big humble moment in professional wrestling was when Steven Regal wrestled Goldberg, and even though Steven Regal was booked to lose against Goldberg, Steven Regal was like, okay, I'm gonna lose to you, but I'm gonna still make you look fucking stupid and show you that you are not on my level, which he sure enough did. I think I love that. Oh my god, I love that match.
Regal
I
kicked his
fucking
ass.
love that match. What?
Regal kicked his
What?
ass. Yes, he did.
Oh my! He uh he just thoroughly broke him down. And when he was doing the different holds, broke his down to his knee, broke him down to his ankle, made him look human. Like the last thing Bischoff wanted. I know Bischoff was freaking the fuck out because that was his golden boy. And he was on the winning streak, if everybody remember. He didn't lose a match yet. So when he was in the ring with that man, Steven Ring was like, okay, I'm gonna work with him, but I ain't gonna make him. I ain't gonna go out looking like no punk. And that's exactly. I think Bill Goldberg will probably still say to this day that that was a wrestling lesson that he'll never forget.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Steven Regal. Yeah.
Damn. Did he get
So
kicked out?
But some of these like I said, some of these wrestlers love wrestling so much that even when they are not physically able to wrestle, they're in the background. You may not see them, but they're
mhm,
working with the people like Triple H and Shawn Michaels in the background, and
mhm.
Yeah, a lot of
they
these
just can't give
dudes,
they can't yeah they can't give it up. They can't
a
give it
lot,
up.
yeah, a lot of the dudes that's they just stay in it because that's what they know.
Exactly, and they love it. They just have
It,
a
it's
strong
it,
passion for
it's
it.
like football. Like you're done playing football, you get on the coaching staff somehow.
There you go. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And then I've seen it. I've seen a couple wrestlers. It's one wrestler that I keep forgetting which one he's in. This guy was supposed to been he was kind of titled as Kurt Angle's son, and he
Yeah,
disappeared
the
for a while. But
Oh, I
now,
know what you're talking about.
that black dude. Yeah, I forgot his
right,
name.
right,
Yeah.
and I see him now working like when if a fight breaks out in the ring, he's one of the guys running out there to separate
Him,
the.
Jamie Noble.
Yep, 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 yep,
It's
Mhm.
somebody else too that does it. And
yeah,
look at Nick Aldis. He was a wrestler.
yep.
Yep.
Sure was,
The
sure
world
was.
champion, NWA world champion.
Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
he's married to Mickey James, right?
Yes,
What?
he
Get
is.
out of here!
Yeah,
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Good
in real
grief!
life, yes.
Wow.
Hmm.
See, that's why I enjoy wrestling so much. There's so many things about wrestling that I
What
enjoy. Yeah.
what's the other dude? Adam Pierce. He was a wrestler.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
A really good wrestler. He was a monster. Shit.
Hmm. And what's the first?
Yo, no, I would.
Remember the first when they start doing this GM laryngitis.
Oh yes, yeah, I
Mhm.
remember him.
Laurinaitis. I said laryngitis. He sounded like he got laryngitis, but it's Laurinaitis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lord.
but he's connected. He's connected with that. What's that family?
Yeah, the Road Warriors. He's a brother of Animal.
Mhm.
Right, but I think he's also connected with another family, not in wrestling, but in entertainment. Oh my goodness, I can't think of who they are. Yeah, but I know you're talking about. Yeah, they're brothers.
John Laurinaitis. Yeah, he was one
Mhm.
of Vince's boys. I think he got caught up in that scandal too with
Yes,
Vince.
he did. Yes, he did.
Oh,
Heavily, heavily
okay,
too.
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah, man. They
Mm-mm-mm. All right, so gentlemen, we still got Saturday night main event. That's tonight. Our
yes, sir.
Truth against Cena.
Uh, listen,
Got
listen. Look.
got Logan
Okay,
Paul
next main
versus
event.
my man.
Wait. I
Yeah,
spoke. I spoke about the last time a Saturday night's main event, and we know how these matches are going to kind of like just be fast and
no contest, no contest.
these matches
Whole bunch
are
of
going to go.
disqualifications.
Yeah, they're going to go by so fast. It's like, oh man, we know how Saturday night's main event matches are going to be. It's going to be simple. Let's just do the basic stuff. Um, the whole thing with R Truth and John Cena, like, come on, man,
Our
like,
truth goes over. Our
yeah,
truth goes over because the title's not on the line.
exactly.
That's the reason why.
Like, it's kind of like predictable. You know how almost
Mhm.
everything is going to end up going. especially when it comes to Saturday
Right.
night's main event. I mean, I don't remember it being this way back in the days, but
Hey,
after
what?
watching the last one, I was like, really? That's it? It's over? That you got beat like that? Like I don't seen you kicked out of shit like this on Monday Night Raw. You know, on SmackDown, you kicked out of
Right,
that.
right.
Hey, real quick, let me welcome my fellow Finn sister and fellow Pisces to the what's up, Nene?
Hey, how's everybody
Hey,
doing?
Hey,
What's
Nene.
going on? What's going
how's
on?
everything? How's everything going with your classes, Nene?
Well, I did get inducted into an honor society. Since last
Congratulations.
night with that,
Congratulations.
those who know,
He
I
actually
went
means
to
it too. Congratulations.
Miami Central, and last night we gave 6 deserving seniors $10,000 to go to college. So,
All
um,
Mm,
right. Way to go.
Congratulations. That's great.
yes.
Go, Nene. Way to go.
yes. So, I mean, that's a couple of things. Shake Money knows because he follows me, but I was just on the House of Representatives floor to talk about the homeless situation here in North Carolina,
Mm,
Uh,
especially when it comes to veterans. So I've been
hmm
a busy individual lately.
yeah.
Hey, that's good. That's all good.
Yeah. I saw y'all was live, and I haven't been on panels for a while. I know it's some interesting things going on in the Dolphins community, but this seems like this is about wrestling. But just kind of poke my
Yeah,
head
we
to
talking
say hi.
wrestling. We leaving the
Nene,
Nothing wrong
quick
with
question for you, Nene.
good to hear from you.
Yes,
Hey, you know Mondale Robinson, right? You ever heard of Mondale Robinson?
I can't say I have, but go on.
Oh no, he's doing some work down there in North Carolina. When it comes to that, I DM you his information. He does a lot of work when it
Yeah.
comes to stuff like that.
Well, the reason for me, it's not like I'm into that, is that I got accepted into an internship because I'm graduating earlier from my MDivs. Well, people don't know what MDiv is, basically seminary school. So once I'm done with this, I go to law school.
Oh,
It's a part of my program, but the internship deals with community, and they presented a bill here to where they were going to lock up people after one warning if you're sleeping outside. So I was charged to speak for a minute on the floor about the effects of it for the homeless veteran community, right? Like, how do you call this North Carolina the most friendly military state? And because you don't have an address, you're arrested. So that led into some senators want to have a conversation. Like, it's just blowing into something else, but I'm not. My goal was really to just complete the course
hmm
requirements.
Mm-hmm.
But God had other plans. And I also got a offer to work at a law firm in Charlotte as well
Okay.
after that
All
speech. So,
right.
so
oh,
I'm
Very
good
really
good.
deal.
busy.
Good deal, man. It's
Congratulations,
nice.
man.
Congrats.
Good,
Congratulations.
good work pays off,
And
Nene.
thank
Good
you.
work
And
pays
thank you for
off.
what you're doing.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Appreciate the
Well, I
work.
just think like, and I brought it up because there's so much negativity going on right now, and in so many different arenas in this country. And every now and then you just need to know that there are people working for, like, especially for the kids. That's a very passionate thing. I grew up in Miami, and we didn't have alumni coming back giving us checks, right? We had to hope to get into school and take student loans, right? For those who did, obviously, some of you know I went in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm in a position where I can. So me and some other alumni came together and made an association. Last year we raised over $60,000 for the kids, and it paid for instruments, bus rental, because a lot of these schools, like in those communities, like they get overlooked. Football is a big thing. So the band, what happens to the band program and things of that nature?
hmm
Kids need things to be involved in. Not everybody's going to be an athlete. So yeah, I work, and that's one of the reasons why they did recommend me for the Hall of Fame, because of this stuff. But I do this out the kindness of my heart because I remember
Right.
what it was like for me, and definitely for the homeless situation. Those who know, unfortunately, my mom became homeless, so I'm very sensitive to that conversation, and just to know that there are people who are really trying to put people in jail because they don't have an address. That's insane to me. So I had the opportunity to speak, so I did.
Okay.
I'm
That's a
happy
good
that
deal,
you did.
Nene. Definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, that's real.
Definitely need fighters out there.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm be honest. Like I was telling the military, whenever you have a problem, try to tie a solution, man. We can't always just problem, right? And there are a lot of problems. We're not gonna sit here and act like it's not. But like in the situation, like with my school, I see my guy that went to the Northwestern. Like these schools need things for kids to do, to keep them out of trouble. Like the band gave me leadership skills that I still carry to this day. And a lot of times when it comes to funding, we don't get it. So like, where do we get it from? And so that's when they called me. It was a no brainer. But yeah, I still need to watch sports to kind of get my mind off of that, the activism, the school. I know the Dolphins gonna break my heart. Thank God for the Florida Panthers. That's all I got right now.
Florida Panthers give
Jesus
you some
Christ.
relief.
If you would have told me in 95, the only team that was going to keep me afloat was a sport that we really can't participate in. We don't have winters in Miami, but that would be the team that gives me joy. Oh,
Right.
shit. I would have
Ain't
never
that
thought.
ironic? That's what you can't participate in. That is ironic. That's crazy. A South Florida hockey team is keeping you. It's like the Jamaican bobsled team. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, and I just like, these panels, despite everything that's going on, you guys have given me a voice. I've connected with people through here. I met Larry, that's a lawyer in Newark, and he's assisted me. Thank you, Shake. So you never know how you can get a connection in a positive matter, right?
Yeah, no problem. Hey, listen, Nene, me and Crypto, we got our ticket secure for the Carolina game, so we will be there.
See, I don't want to give no guarantees because the way my life is going right now, and again, I'm humble.
Hey, listen, if we gotta hunt you down, we'll do that. I don't care.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I guess this. I know they got green lit. I guess this is white lit. This is the
Right.
but no, I definitely want to meet. But again, that's gonna be in the fall. So I really don't know. But my goal is to go to Charlotte to hopefully watch our Dolphins get some type of W. But we're always prepared for the other stuff. But I don't want to derail, what y'all was talking about. Just a lot of guys. I see Man of the Hour. I see Crypto. I said, well, let me just come in here and say hi. I know I've been kind of MIA a little bit because I've been really busy this summer. Like it's been crazy. But it's all good stuff.
Yep.
Well, it's always good to see you, Nene, because I was
Continue
asking
to
about
do
you
the
I
the
good
got
other
work,
day.
nothing but love and
man.
support for you, Nene, and I know
That's
I
real.
Continue
have the
to
same
help.
from you. So
I couldn't hear. I heard shaking. I heard my guy,
Thank you.
Mr. Polk.
no, I said I got nothing but love and support for you because I know it's the other way around too. You know what I'm saying? You support me too.
Absolutely. And Mr. Polk, I heard your wonderful voice about Christianity, and I was so mad I couldn't be in there for that one because I'm passionate about that as well. And I love what you said. So and it's not easy, and I just let people know Christians don't mean you're perfect, right? But that doesn't mean you use that and
Exactly.
weaponize that to disrespect people. And everybody know I don't went off on spaces. I went off on spaces I think like 3 weeks ago. It's a human thing. Like we're not perfect people, but we don't use that to demonize other people that may believe in other
Exactly.
Right.
things.
Exactly, Nene.
Yeah. In other words, I know what you're saying. It's like you people think, okay, because you're Christian, they could slap you in the face and you have to turn the other cheek. Fuck that. No.
Well, not even that. For what I heard of the conversation, the guy was, and those who know, I've had my own personal issues with that individual because he was defending that guy. He was using the scriptures to defend him, and I thank Ali for bringing it up because he noticed that did happen. And I was like, sir, I'm not asking for perfection, but we're not going to do that. Like you can keep him in prayer, cool, but we're not going to delineate. He clearly has a prejudice. I think people use racism way too much. It's
Mm-hmm.
called prejudice, right? They have a prejudice against people that are not like themselves. But I thought what you said, Mr. Pope, was spot on. Like you don't have to. I'm talking about from the Christians treating other people poorly. You don't have to do
Exactly.
that and then be like, "Oh, I'm a Christian." No, you actually make us look bad. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I'm glad you said that, Mr. Pokes, and bless you for that.
Yeah, thank you, and it's for real because I'm not up here. Like I said, I'm not up here in these panels and in the chat room for that. And when I say it's no disrespect to color. Me and color get along real good, and I know how color feels about his religious belief compared to mine, but we respect each other to the point where we can be friends. We can talk. We are friends. We're family, and what have you. So I'm not here to do that. And like I said, it's a lifestyle that I choose to live, and I'm proud of it. And doesn't, but at the same time, I'm not here to pass judgment on nobody because that's God's job, not mine. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So
yeah,
that was another reason why I stuck my head in, because I mean I had to get on what's that guy Jose M. Again, that's to your point, Shake. We Christians, but we still got these hands. Jose M need to leave me alone. Okay. I didn't send for him, don't call for me, okay? I still got that dead kind of in me, but I did appreciate that. But it's always good to see Crypto. Crypto, I have to keep up with your AB because I didn't know who Yokozuna now. Okay.
Yeah,
I
Crypto
didn't
got me
recognize it
fixed
until I
up.
heard the voice.
right.
But I gotta go, guys. I actually gotta prepare actual passage for some study, but I just needed to take a break because we were doing some errands still for the kids down there in Miami again. And those who are not from Miami, it's transparent. Like if you mad about what's going on right now in the country, which is fair, try to get some community leaders and get together and find some solutions. Because that's the only way it's gonna work. Like just crying about it is not gonna change anything. And them kids last night, man, I'm physically in North Carolina, but I got a lot of Zooms from the kids. They appreciate, the efforts and donating and helping them out. So that's another message I definitely want to leave. Maybe somebody in the chat will hear it. Like it's bad times, but we come together and we work together I call it takes a village to get things done. So I'll land there.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
Cool. We
Appreciate you,
appreciate
Nate.
it, Nene.
yeah,
Yep.
definitely, my sister, definitely.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
good deal.
Yep.
So
Hey,
Winter's
when,
where's Winter's at? Yeah, we're at the 2-hour mark. We usually keep it 2 hours. So if you want to
Yeah,
keep it
man, I'm
going,
about to
we can.
sign
If not, we
on
can
off
just wrap
now.
this up right now.
I mean, we can wrap it up for the week. I mean, I appreciate everybody definitely coming through, everybody in the comments, everybody that's on the panel right now. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Don't forget, Saturday night main events tonight and
Yeah.
tomorrow, AEW Double or Nothing. Till 2 weeks.
Saturday night's main
We'll see you
event.
then, guys.
There you go.
And real quick, I just want to address something I seen Ali put in the chat. Ali, if you're listening, yes, I am controlling. I created the thumbnail. I did the. I am in charge of the controls, but this is our show. This is my show. This is a tailgate show. So if you feel disrespected, I don't. I'm not gonna hold it against you, my brother. So yeah, I just want you to know that this is your show as well as much as it is ours, mine, Winters, Man of the Hours, Yoko Zuna, Crypto Zuna, and Dolphin Winters. Mr. Polk. So yeah,
I
please,
appreciate that, Shay. Thank you.
Yeah.
you know that. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, we'll I only have one show, and that's in the blender, and that is tonight. I'm knock on wood. I'm gonna have the one, the only Mr. Paris Love finally coming in to join me this tonight at 7:00, man. So it's gonna be an epic show. I can't wait. So anyway, yeah, man.
Good deal.
Fins up, everybody, and
There's
yeah,
love.
we'll see you in
Take
2
it easy,
weeks.
guys. Friends up.
All right, y'all. Y'all be
All
easy.
right.
Peace, guys.
Y'all be easy.
Catch y'all later. Peace.
And happy Memorial Day, man. Remember,
Yeah.
Memorial Day,
Remember the vet.
Insomnia is doing a special holiday show tonight. So a Memorial Day. So you could kick off your Memorial Day literally with us on Insomnia. So me and Crypto Zuno there.
Don't know what crypto
Yeah.
gonna show up for that.
So fins up, and we out.
All right.
Yep.